This is a Dragon Blazer production, and I am the little boogeyman.
All right. Coming down the aisle, your podcast tag team champions of the world, Boomer and Blaze.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Boomer and Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
And Blaze, I have a question for you.
No.
Do you smell that? Do you smell that? Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
I'm sorry. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I do. I smell what he is cooking.
The most electrifying man in sports entertainment made a return this week, and we're going to get to that when we discuss wrestling, but I just wanted to show that I broke out my vintage Rock jersey. This is not a replica. This is from back in the day. It says the People's Champ on the back. The Rock has returned. One of the loudest pops, probably the loudest pop I've heard since Edge returned at the Royal Rumble a few years back, but we'll go there in a minute. Here we are with another week. We have a lot to talk about, and I'm excited because it's WrestleMania 14. And for those of you who don't remember, this is Austin versus Shawn Michaels with Iron Mike Tyson as the referee. My co-host today is with the NWO, so over there with his with this black and white screen, but it's fine. We're gonna roll with it. It's a cool look.
I'm even wearing a Venom shirt, so I'm completely have the black. I have black and white all over the place.
Over the place. So yeah, lots to talk about this week and a great pay-per-view. And we're gonna hop into it, I think. Are you good over there? Are you ready to discuss some things? Let's start with talking about the X. And not DX, unfortunately. Let's talk about
Triple X?
Well,
what kind of
this story makes me think that it should be Triple X, but I sent you a little graphic because Mr. Musk, who has decided to totally destroy the Twitter, if the Iron Sheik
we're probably going to be getting off of it.
If the Iron Sheik was still around, you jabroni. So the story here is, you may not be following us on this social media platform anymore. Maybe we need to make our own. Oh, we'll talk about that off air. Anyway, so this is what this man is trying to feed us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to try not to get into big of a tirade here. I don't want to put him on my Mount Rushmore of most hated people, but he is trying to tell us that he thinks he needs to start charging everyone to use X to prevent the bots from being on there. I call bullshit.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to stop bot accounts. You're trying to make people believe that so you can get them to pay to use your social platform. And come on.
Yeah.
I
don't see a lot of people keeping the Twitters.
You don't think the people that put those bots out there can get around you? Come on. Who the fuck are you trying to?
No, all you're going to do is you're going to take away all your casual Twitter users who are going to be like, I got Instagram, I've got Facebook, I've got all these other social platforms.
Right.
I'm not sticking with Twitter.
Right.
They also have Thread on Facebook, so I'll probably start using that more if we lose Twitter.
Yeah, because
sorry, X.
I just don't see this happening. Maybe people will pay for it. If it wasn't for this, let's say I don't personally use Twitter. Never have. I use it for the show, but no one cares what I am doing. You know what I mean? Like, Twitter is more for celebrities, brands, podcasts, things like that.
Yeah.
But as far as we go, until we get sponsors and are making hush money, I'm not going to pay to
stay on Twitter.
I'm not going to pay to stay on X. I can't even tweet anymore. I post now. I can post on Facebook. I just don't get it.
Right.
Like, I understand some of, like, you want to be your own brand. That I get, but there's the old saying of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, it's fine that you bought Twitter. You could have just left it the hell alone. Like, why do you have to, it'll be interesting to see what happens, and how much he thinks he's going to get people to pay to be on there. But yeah, we'll keep you posted because we may not have a Twitter account anymore. I think this is silly. I think it's ridiculous.
I don't care if it's $1. It's too much.
Right. Like, literally.
I'm not paying.
I'm not. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yeah. There's a different kind of X people. People don't even pay for that kind of X anymore. Like, wait.
No,
you don't even pay for triple X anymore. Where are you going to pay for this X? Like, come on. I just don't get it. Like, I think he should not have.
We have plenty of free slots.
I think he should have never rebranded it. That's just my opinion. It's just like, it's like when Disney bought ESPN, people thought Mickey Mouse was going to be on SportsCenter. That's not what they did. You would never know Disney owns ESPN by watching the product. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I know it's about to change. We're getting the animated football game. I know we talked about that.
Yeah,
you get my point.
I'm excited about that.
You get my point that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You just leave it alone. It's like Endeavor, who just bought WWE. They've owned UFC for several years now, but Dana White still runs everything because they just left it alone because it's a model that works. And this here is just silly. Like, fuck you, Elon Musk.
I'm with you. Fuck you, Elon.
Fuck you, Elon. And your ex. All right. Well, there's my complaining about Elon. So now we are going to do our segment in our show that used to be our podcast for like 30 seconds. Let's go to the NFL and let's talk about who they bitching. that one little podcast.
Yeah.
Rough start. Rough start, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really taking that namesake to heart. Woo. With these with these last couple games.
Back to back rough losses.
You know what? Everybody says this is a rough loss. We lost to the Ravens. There's no shame in that. The Ravens are not exactly a bad team.
There is
we lost by what? 3 points?
There is no shame in it. It's such a rough loss because we started off with 2 division games and lost back-to-back division games. It's no disrespect to the Ravens at all. It's just rough.
I kind of hate this early division game schedule we've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, from that aspect, yes. 0-2, both of division, definitely sucks.
Yeah.
But this game is not the Browns game. Browns game, we got pretty much dominated. Like I said, there was a downpour. I already gave my excuses. I already did my bitching on that one. This one, we showed signs of life. There is some concern about Joe Burrow and his ankle. Yeah. Maybe if I would have known if I knew we were going to lose the Browns and the Ravens game, I would have definitely said, yes, Jamar Chase is right. Let Joe Burrow sit, take these losses, let him rest. Now, hopefully it's not aggravated too bad. The reports right now is that Joe Burrow's calf feels a lot better after a couple days rest. I hope that's true. I hope we're good. And tomorrow's Friday. On Monday, we come out swinging against the Rams.
Yeah. I did see some reports, and I can't remember the name that was mentioned, but I have seen reports that they are in search of a backup quarterback in case, Burrow is worse than we think or something else might happen. This, again, is what I was talking about last week. Because he's so young still, Burrow's having a lot of issues staying healthy, and I don't want his career to be over too soon because of this. Does that make sense? This is where my fear is. I almost feel like, as crazy as it sounds, if we can sign, any kind of veteran backup quarterback, then just let that guy play and let Burrow get completely healthy. Let's not make it worse. If we have to lose 3 games in a row because Burrow can't play, then whatever. But I think that the focus should be on letting Burrow get 100% completely healthy before he's back out there on the field.
I don't disagree with that.
I understand that's not how it works. I get it. Because if he's cleared, they're going to want him. I know it's a business at the end of the day, but from my view, I would much rather the man be completely healthy than to be throwing him out here and letting him re-injure.
You know who I wouldn't mind? The bearded wonder,
I wish we could
Ryan Fitzmagic.
me and you were thinking the
Now-
same thing. It would be great. He retired, but
Now,
here's the thing.
how would you feel?
Go ahead.
I got a question.
Yeah.
How would you feel? Because I know how I feel about him. What if, because there's talks right now of the Jets and getting Tom Brady. What if? What if we could talk Tom Brady into just playing a couple games?
Just a couple games, Tom.
Just a couple games until Joe Burrow's healthy. I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but if the man helps the Bengals win, I'll become not hated of him.
That's big dreaming. It's just I don't want Joe Burrow to get the Carson Palmer syndrome, because Carson Palmer was never the same after that Steelers game when he got injured, and he got re-injured a couple more times, and he was never the same player. That's not a knock on Carson. That's what I'm worried about here. You're not
wrong.
Yeah, we don't want him to not be able to stay healthy. It'll ruin his career, and he. Yeah, I just don't want to see that. Now, there was a little bit of pleasure I could take out of the weekend when the first play of the Browns game was a pick six by the Steelers. So we could at least we could have some joy in that.
I took pleasure in that for one reason, and that reason is I had the Steelers defense on my fantasy team, and I was so close to losing. I mean, in fact, there was no reason I should have won my game. I played against my brother, and there was no reason I should have won that game. But the defense for the Steelers had the best game of any defense this week, or that last week, and he had the running back for the Steelers, and he did crappy. So my defense was able to outplay, and I was behind, was able to outplay his running back, his star running back for the Steelers, and I managed to win that game on defense pretty much.
Nice.
So I did like that. Now it's interesting you bring up the Steelers, and it's interesting you bring up the Browns, or not the Browns, but the Carson Palmer, because the Steelers attacked another player and injured him, and possibly career-ending, and that's Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
And I feel so bad for Nick Chubb, because I saw that, and holy crap, that injury looks horrible. He may never play again. Which is sad, because he's such a dynamic player. I'm not a Browns fan, but I enjoyed watching. He's good. He's really freaking good. And he might never play again. That looked terrible. It's definitely a season-ending injury, and possibly a career-ending injury. That the human body is not supposed to bend like that.
No. No.
So
it did not look good, and it could be all bad for him for sure.
Those damn Steelers.
And I know this isn't going to sound, I just saw this the other day, and this isn't going to sound huge, but if you think about it, really is. So we're 2 weeks into the NFL season, and there are 14 starters across the entire league that are now out, injured. 14 players is a lot for 2 weeks into that's the whole league, but that's still a lot of people to be hurt in the first 2 weeks. It's a lot. It's been a rough start for the NFL, and so our next game's who? Who do we got next? Who do the Bengals have next?
We got the Rams on Monday Night Football.
Rams on Monday Night Football. By the way, what'd you think of the Browns uniforms? I mean, I know they copied from us and stole the all-white helmet, but I didn't hate it.
It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, but I work with some Browns fans, though, and none of them were really fans of it. They're like, we're the Browns. It doesn't make sense for us to have all-white uniforms. The one guy was like, well, neither does the Bengals. And someone else was like, yeah, it does, because there's white Bengal tigers. But you guys are literally the Browns. So you don't really have a reason to wear an all-white uniform. But, whatever. Whatever. I'm not a Browns fan, so I don't have to worry about it.
They were fine.
Yeah. Oh, I know something else we have to bring up. I don't know if you saw this or not. This is NFL-related real quick. Maybe someday we're going to have to bring our podcast back so we don't take up our wrestling podcast with this. But just real quick, did you see that a fan died at the Patriots game after getting in a fight with another fan?
No.
This past weekend, yeah. Apparently it was just, it was a fight between two fans in the crowd. and the one guy landed a couple of shots to the other guy's head apparently, and the guy ended up passing away. So yeah,
Dang.
don't get in fights at games, people. Yeah, it's not. And I saw the footage, and it doesn't look like. People don't realize that, especially if you're legit fighting, there's certain parts of the body, the head being one of them, that it doesn't have to be a really hard blow necessarily to cause serious damage, you know. I mean, they just looked like regular punches, but he just must have hit somewhere just right. So that was sad to hear. Just don't get in fights in crowds. It's not worth it. It's football, people. It doesn't matter who you're a fan of. Like, don't. I've been to several NFL games. I was lucky enough to never get in any violent crowds, you know. So luckily. But yeah, so that was an unfortunate situation. And fan passes away at a game. Don't get in fights, kids. Behave at the NFL games, okay? Is there any more NFL you want to discuss?
No.
All right, well.
Nope. That just Nick Chubb in our game.
Yeah, sorry, Nick Chubb, and of course Kareem Hunt was re-signed by the Browns. And
Yeah, I saw that.
All our best wishes to you, Nick Chubb. I hope you recover. We don't know if he'll ever play again, but you know, there you go. So, oh yeah, pretty excited about the next one. We're going to show you guys something here in a minute because if you all know, October's right around the corner, and I don't know how well you know us, but it's to me the most wonderful time of the year. Forget Christmas, give me Halloween. You know what I'm saying? And our friend
Right.
is coming back after waiting and waiting and waiting. Everyone's friend, your friend, my friend, everyone's friend, Chucky, is returning finally on October 4th. And we have a trailer.
We do, as soon as I get it up.
So my co-host is going to pull it up, and we are going to watch the trailer for the next season. I'm excited. I still have to finish season 2. We were talking about this off air. I think I'm just going to go now that the cock finally has it. I'm going to just start season 2 over again, you know, to prepare.
Yeah, and if I...
Because it did spoil me a little bit. If you haven't seen all of season 2, the trailer's going to give you a little bit of a... But that's okay. You know, it was kind of like you. I just kind of forgot because I was waiting and waiting and waiting forever for it to show up on Peacock. And then I just never went back.
It often, so...
Oh.
All right.
Let's do it.
Henry, I know moving to a new house can be a little scary, but you'll get used to it.
Well, at least there's one good thing.
What's that?
Chucky.
Chucky.
Our son has taken to this doll in a way that we find perhaps a bit odd, but it seems to be therapeutic.
Tap and check your phone.
You bitches miss me?
Okay, Chucky. Let's play.
Hey, hold on. The Wi-Fi's surprisingly. You're not the producer from Dateline.
Where is my sister?
Chucky took her.
Help! Caroline, you don't have to do this.
I'm his new friend till the end.
Knife drop.
Have you seen the news? Is that Chucky in the White House?
Oh,
We're
shit.
responsible for Chucky.
We're going to DC. He knows where my sister is.
We're gonna kill Chucky, guys.
Again.
He's a killer. No White House.
This is gonna be our bloodiest Halloween yet.
It's Chuck.
I think he found the Oval Office very interesting.
What are you guys talking about?
Killing people.
Yes.
Kenan Thompson.
Yes. Oh, very exciting. Can't wait. Chucky returning.
And I think I
October 4th.
read, and I don't know how accurate this is, but I think I read somewhere that this time season 3 will be on Peacock as they come out. So
That could be a possibility. So
hopefully we don't have to wait all the way till almost next October before we get to watch this.
yeah, hopefully not. Very excited about it, and hopefully Chucky will be back again. I know it's very popular. Hopefully the writer's strike doesn't go so long that we start losing stuff, So fingers crossed on that, because, yeah, love our Chucky. There's good sides and bad sides to the writer's strike because we're wrestling fans. But there are certain TV series that we like as well. And
yeah.
So there you go, Chucky coming back next month. Can't wait for that. It's almost time to talk horror and pumpkin spice and all that good stuff. It's all right around the corner. So
I've already had a couple pumpkin spice. So,
I'm sure you have. You don't wait for that. I get it. That's fine. So, all right. Well, Chucky, yeah, looking forward to that. Hopefully they do just show it right away. I don't know why they wouldn't. You're already showing it on Sci-Fi and USA, so why can't you just let us watch it on the cock?
Probably some kind of deal or something.
I think
had.
The cock just likes to be complicated. Okay, that's what it is.
It could be the cock. The cock sometimes is complicated.
It is.
Yes.
We talked about this before, but even trying to pull up Mania today instead of just typing in WrestleMania, I tried to navigate the cock, and it's just too hard.
I've got that.
Thank you. I'll be here all week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
All right.
Rough crowd. But anyway,
So,
all right. So that's Chucky. I think I'm going to transition into some wrestling unless you have something else you want to add about Chucky.
nope, I think that's stoked. I think we're at wrestling time now.
All right, well, let's show I sent you a picture of PWI's Top 500 was just released. And it's a pretty big story because guess who the top 3 guys are on the list? I love who's number 1, though. For those of you who didn't get to see it, the top 3 of the PW's Top 500 are the Shield. I mean, they're not the Shield anymore, obviously, but
it's all 3 members of the Shield.
But look who is number 1. Seth Rollins, baby, on the top 500. Roman at 2 and Jon Moxley at 3. So the Shield are the top 3 wrestlers in the world right now, according to the PWI Top 500. So there you go. I love that Seth was picked number 1 over Roman. And to be fair, Roman's storyline's great and all that, but Roman is he's doing the Brock thing right now. You know what I mean? So to compare him.
I will say this, though. To my understanding, he may not be wrestling every show, but the bloodline is part of pretty much every show, are they not? Like, even if he's not there, the bloodline's still there.
Look, I don't even totally hate it. It's old school. Like, the champion doesn't have to be wrestling every week or on TV every week, so I don't hate it. But I think that that's probably part of the reason Seth was picked number 1 is just because he's more active as far as actual
and I get that. I get that, but like I said, with Brock, a lot of times you didn't see or hear from Brock. You didn't hear from Paul Heyman at all times. He just disappeared for long stretches of time. Where even if Roman's not there every week, his presence is still there.
Yeah,
Paul Heyman is still coming out doing promos with Cody Rhodes, and without Paul.
Right.
Paul Heyman's there talking for him. Solo's there attacking people. The bloodline is still always present. So it's almost like your final boss. You get to see all of his minions and stuff, and you just only see him when he's at the pay-per-view with the title, and he shows up when needed. He doesn't have to be there because his presence is always felt. And that part of that is because of the storyline he has right now. It works.
Exactly.
That doesn't work with if you have just a solo person like Seth Rollins who doesn't have an entourage, when they disappear, then the disappearance is felt. But I don't feel like Roman's disappearance is felt.
Right.
I think he's always looming somewhere. Almost like even when he's not there, he's like sitting in front of a box watching everything happen. Like he's just paying attention to everybody.
I always feel like somebody's watching me. No, I get it. Yeah, I agree. I think it works, especially because like older fans like me, we grew up before there was Raw and all that anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I remember as a kid, when
Sunday
I first
night main event.
Yeah, like you had Saturday morning shows and Saturday night's main event and stuff, but you didn't have these weekly shows. And I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan, but you didn't always see Hulk Hogan every week. especially when he was champion. I'm talking pre-Raw, so I don't. It's the old school vibe, and I'm okay with it, But I'm just a bigger fan of Seth. Seth's one of my favorite wrestlers in this current
I love
modern
Seth.
era. Yeah, so
I don't
um,
hate this order. Yeah, my only thing is, I don't know if I would consider Moxley the number 3.
yeah,
Um,
um, yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that one.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. I don't want to hate on Moxley, and I like him better
I,
since he went to AEW. But the problem is, again, I'm a smarter fan than I used to be. His matches are all the same, if that makes sense. Like you literally feel like you're watching the same match every time, and then for some reason Moxley thinks he has to bleed every. Like he's trying to do like the death match indie thing, and it just doesn't belong in the main street. You don't have to bleed every match, and every match shouldn't look like the same match no matter who you're fighting. You know, I still don't like the Wild Thing theme. I don't think it fits. I don't know.
yeah.
I tried to get into Moxley, but we're actually going to get ready to talk about Moxley. I do have a little bit of AEW after I shit on him.
You know
But
what's weird? When Shield first broke up, or while Shield was still going on, Moxley was my favorite. Dean Ambrose was my favorite. He's the one I wanted to like from that group.
Yeah.
And I ended up loving Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns more recently.
Yeah.
Not recently anymore. He's been doing the Bloodline story for a while, but I wasn't big on Roman Reigns before the Bloodline. But Seth I ended up liking pretty quickly, and Dean was like, he just kind of, he's not as good as I was hoping he was going to be.
Yeah.
But I thought he was going to be the breakout star. And they tried.
Yeah, they tried.
And he kind of is at AEW, but I just personally am not as big on him.
No. But we're going to talk about him, and I'm not as big on him either, but we're going to talk about him because of what just happened. So I have a little bit of AEW news before we go to WWE, if I can talk this morning. So 2 weeks ago, they had All Out right after the big London show, and the main event was Moxley and Orange Cassidy for the AEW International title, and Moxley won the championship. This past Wednesday, they had their show. From Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. They do it every year, and they call it Grand Slam, but it's on TV. It's kind of like a Clash of the Champions thing, from back in the day. Moxley was defending his title against Rey Fenix from the Lucha Brothers, and Phoenix went to do, I don't know what he calls the move, but he kind of went to do like a Takamichi or a Michinoku driver is basically kind of what he was trying to hit. And when he came down, Moxley landed directly on top of his head. Kind of like Austin when he got pile drive by Owen. Moxley, landed directly on his head. So the ref went to count, and he stopped the count, but Moxley didn't kick out. So Phoenix picked him up and did the move again, and the ref counted to 3. But the point is, 2 things. One, Moxley came down directly on his head, and he couldn't move. That's why he didn't kick out of the pin. The ref stopped, and it looked really awkward. But the problem in AEW versus WWE is, in AEW, the refs know the finish. So he stopped because Moxley was supposed to win the match, but Moxley got knocked out. Moxley got a concussion. See, in WWE, the refs are told you count no matter what. If the guy doesn't kick out, you count to 3. That's just how they're supposed to do it. So it was a very awkward moment because the ref just stopped counting, even though Moxley didn't kick out or anything. He just counted 2 and then just literally stopped and was like, So then Rey Fenix picks him up, not knowing he's concussed apparently, and does the move again. And then they counted to 3. So Rey Fenix is the new champ, but that was not what was supposed to happen. And it just made it very awkward. Like I said, again, I want Moxley to be okay. I'm not saying you should ignore that, but your refs should be told that no matter what happens, you count. If the guy doesn't kick out, then just count. That's what you do. So hopefully Moxley's okay. But it was a scary moment. I saw the video and it kind of reminded me of the Owen Hart thing. Or the Stone Cold thing. Like Moxley did come down directly on his head. So I hope, right now they're saying just a concussion, but I wish the best for him. For all you people that say this is fake and everything, accidents happen. I'm just saying. So that was the biggest thing that happened on that show. But I think you might have a bone to pick. In fact, I think we might have to get you a lawyer. You may have to go to war with Tony Khan Because if I remember correctly,
yeah?
I need you to remind me of something. But you were talking about your Dragon Blazer wrestling promotion, right? And you were talking about some of the
Hmm.
pay-per-views you had planned, correct? And I believe, did you
Yeah.
not say that you had a pay-per-view planned called Wrestle Dream?
No.
Oh, okay.
I called it Wrestle War,
Wrestle
I think
War.
it was.
Okay, well then Tony Khan's safe because they're adding a new pay-per-view called Wrestle Dream, and when I saw it, I was like, it wasn't that what Blaze said his pay-per-view was?
No.
I don't want to have to
believe
come after you, Tony
my
Khan.
WrestleMania
Okay.
was called Wrestle War, I believe.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Well, all right. Well, we're going to move on to WWE. We're not going to talk about The Rock quite yet. Let's talk about the newest signing, which I know you don't know a lot about her, but let's talk about the
I know
newest
enough.
signing to the WWE. Let's talk about someone that's about to come in and dominate. I hope as long as she's used right, because ladies and gentlemen, Jade Cargill is headed to the WWE. Kind of shocked me, but it didn't. And I'm reading that there are plans to immediately give her a push. So it's going to be interesting to see. This is where I have that fear. In Triple H we trust, but this is where I have that fear of, are they going to do it right? It'll be interesting to see what her name's going to be, because I don't know if that's her actual name or if AEW owns that name. I don't know.
I don't know
how that part will go, but and I'm not saying they have to do the same thing with her. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they have to bring her in and let her have a streak like AEW did. That's not what I'm saying. But is she still going to come off as that dominant, you know what I'm saying? Are they still going to protect her character?
Yeah.
Are they still going to let her come up as that dominant fear? Like when she comes out, people should think someone's about to get their ass kicked. That's all I'm saying. So I'm excited. I'm a huge fan of Jade. And her in-ring work, I feel, is good. Her presentation's great. She looks great. So hopefully, I wish her a lot of success. I'm hoping it works out. It's just always interesting to see when they jump ship. What's going to happen.
Should be interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't she the one that likes to do a lot of themed outfits? Like, wasn't she the one that did the painted herself like half green for She-Hulk when She-Hulk came out?
She likes to do that for pay-per-views. She likes to go extravagant with her outfits. Yep.
And she does a lot of nerd stuff, so I'm interested in seeing those in WWE. Absolutely.
She did a Storm outfit once for a pay-per-view. Storm from X-Men even did her hair all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm interested. I hope it works out. I'm a huge fan of hers, so I'm pretty excited. And watch out, all the women. You're all on notice. Even you, mommy. You're all on notice. Okay.
If they use her right, she could be really cool.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so then we've been talking about we talked about a little bit earlier about the writer's strike, and thanks to the writer's strike, of course, this man made a return this week. Cena's back, and Cena's going to be around at least for 6 months. And this happened, and it was actually, by the way, Solo who put this picture out of the top photos from 2006, and that's Cena staring down Umaga, who was Solo's father. And of course, then we have today with the Cena and Solo stare down. So it looks like we're going to get to see this match, which we can pretty much think that if these two face off, Cena's going to do the job, and that could be huge. I think that could be huge for Solo to get a win over Cena, even though unfortunately lately, since he's been losing all the time, it kind of, I don't know, it makes it feel less to me. You know what I mean? Like, it used to be a really big deal to beat John Cena, but I can't remember the last time Cena's won, because he's just coming back and doing the jobs all the time. But
with bloodline storytelling, though, they could make it work.
Yeah. I'm still for it, and I still think it's good. I just think the rub loses a little bit. Like, if Cena's really going to be here for 6 months, then maybe you should put him in a little bit longer of a feud and have him win one. Maybe even this one. Like, if you really want to build Solo up, maybe you stretch it out a little bit and let Cena win one and then go back and forth.
He does. He needs to be a little more dominant, so it doesn't seem like, he's over his prime.
Of course you won, because
losing.
Yeah, everybody's beating him. Theory beat him. Roman beat him. Yeah, everybody's beating him. Yeah, so hopefully it works out in Solo's favor. I'm still for it. It's one good thing about the Hollywood writers' strike. The other day, I even read Batista said, yes,
Batista's considering it.
yeah, like I'm retired, but if they give me a call, I mean, I'm not doing nothing right now.
It's
So,
like I don't have to cross picket lines to be in wrestling, so
yeah, yeah, and he really did not plan on coming back, and it doesn't mean he will. He's just saying, hey, I mean, I'm not busy right now, so if you guys want to
yeah.
do something with me, I'm for it, and I don't blame him. I mean, why not?
Batista's one of those. Every time I saw him, and now I didn't get to see him when he was younger, so I'm actually looking forward to that on our podcast.
One of my favorites. Yeah.
I didn't really get to see him much when he was younger, so I never really got into Batista.
And you didn't even see a lot of Evolution, did you?
No. We talked about that.
Yeah, we talked
many
about
times.
that. Yeah, so that's
I never got to
stuff.
see the early days of Randy, the early days of Batista. I didn't get to see any of that.
I actually didn't become a fan of Batista till he broke away from Evolution.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Well, I think I saw him when he came back. He already left WWE and then came back, and that's when I saw him, and I just was nothing. He wasn't anything for me. Right. And then I became a huge fan of him because of Guardians of the Galaxy, Trader's Drags.
Yeah.
And
yes, he is. Yeah.
Now, pretty much every time I see him, I now enjoy him, but his Hollywood career actually changed my opinion of Batista. Right. I never saw him when he was younger, when everybody liked him, and I saw he was older, because he was an older guy that came in. He wasn't exactly a young guy when he started in Evolution. But, so yeah. So, speaking of Hollywood, I feel like there's one other guy we need to talk about next, right?
There is this guy right here.
Feeling
the most electrifying man.
Shocked a little bit, because electricity is going.
Dude, I actually got a message when it happened from my insider buddy that works for Pro Wrestling News Source, and nobody had a clue this was going to happen. Somehow they kept this under wraps. I mean, obviously everybody thought, since it is the writer's strike, there was a possibility The Rock might come back at some point. But this was totally unexpected and out of nowhere. It's become the most viewed WWE segment on YouTube and all that crap, and forever. Like, it's just blown up. The crowd pop. I don't know if you've watched it. I've watched it over and over because I'm in love with The Rock.
I haven't, know that. Actually.
And the crowd pop was just insane. And no one even got it at first. I didn't either, watching the clip, because Pat McAfee said, "This is the people's show. Don't you know what that means?" And then it was just quiet for a minute before The Rock's music hit, and then everybody just went ballistic. We got a people's elbow out of it. There's all these memes about, showing The Rock and Austin back in the day, and The Rock with Austin Theory, and saying then and now. Even Theory, I think, tried to make some comment about it was The Rock and Austin. Wrong Austin, Theory. Wrong Austin. But but the interesting story I have to bring up about The Rock's return isn't actually him on SmackDown. It was him on the Pat McAfee show, or on College Game Day, whatever it was. He was on ESPN with Pat McAfee and a couple other people doing an interview. And he basically said that him and Roman at WrestleMania 39 was supposed to happen. And the reason it didn't happen wasn't because of scheduling. The Rock said, "I make my schedule." It wasn't scheduling. He said it didn't happen because they couldn't figure out the right way to do it. Basically, The Rock saying he wants to do it, but he doesn't want it to just be The Rock versus Roman. He wants to give the fans something they haven't had before, blah, blah, blah. But he did all this big thing on ESPN, and some people are saying he buried Cody because he said, he's basically saying Cody got the match because he decided not to do it. I don't think in any way he was trying to bury Cody. First of all, as much as I love Cody, Cody's not The Rock. I'm sorry. Yeah. Cody's not The Rock. If The Rock decides he's doing that title match at WrestleMania 40, you're not finishing your story, Cody, because you're not The Rock. I'm sorry. It's The Rock. I know he's not a full-time wrestler. I know he's not a full-time guy. I get that. But he's The Rock. That's just all there is to it. Like, I think we talked about this a little bit. Again, I'm not trying to hate on the man. Cody's way better than he was back in the day. I like Cody. He's not there yet. Just because you built yourself in AEW and on the indie scene, you're not even Seth Rollins. I'm sorry. Am I wrong? I'm not trying to hate on Cody. I'm talking about as far as the big stars. You're not there yet, Cody. I'm sorry. You're not. Like, So I don't feel like The Rock buried him just because he said we didn't do the match because it didn't work. We didn't figure out how. It just sounds like The Rock wants it to be more than just Rock Roman. He wants there to be something special, something different. He just wants it to be something creative, and
I
that's
think we've
fine.
already talked about how we want it to happen. We want him to question Roman being the head of the table. That's I think what most of us would like.
But I think The Rock's talking more about. I think he's talking more about too, like the actual match itself. I think he doesn't want to just have a straight up That's what he kept saying. I just don't want to have a plain old. Here's this match. He wants it to be something different, something huge, something whatever. My point is, I don't feel like he buried Cody saying that.
I don't feel like he did. I don't feel like he did either because we all kind of expected The Rock to face him.
As a matter of fact, like I don't care who if he shows up, he's getting his match. Like I'm not trying to knock everybody on the roster right now, but he's The Rock, people. I don't know what else to tell you. Like he's The Rock. That's just if The Rock wants to wrestle, he's wrestling. I'm just saying, like,
right?
Yeah. I mean, it's all about star power. It's no different than if another huge star that could still go would come back and win a match. If Austin's another one. If Austin said, "I want Seth Rollins at WrestleMania," guess what?
You're getting Seth Rollins.
Rock's fighting Roman, Austin's fighting Seth, and that's what you're getting. Like, there's just certain people that have earned it. And Rock and Roman's what everybody wants anyway. I mean, that's what we want. Cody can still finish his story. Cody could fight Seth if it comes down to that.
Right.
I mean,
the way I look at it is this is just the story that we were expecting to be told. And yes. I don't think The Rock was meaning to bury Cody, like you said.
I don't either. It didn't come off like that at all.
I think people just like to attack things when they see these kind of things.
It's the haters again.
It's the haters. Bloody hate us.
Yep.
But
hate is gonna hate.
But I have mixed feelings about all of this because I do want to see Rock versus Roman. Because of how impressive this streak has gone with Roman Reigns, I don't know if I want, because as much as I love The Rock, I don't know if I like the idea of the part-time star being the person to break this streak.
Okay, I'm on the same page as you, right? And I don't think this match needs a title, and I'm on the same page as you. But to build to this, you have The Rock cost Roman the title. That's what I would do.
There you go. I would, what I'd like to see? If we make this a whole bloodline family situation, The Rock steps in with Jey Uso.
Yeah.
And he helps Jey Uso win the world champion. He's made of it, Jey!
And to be honest, I thought part of me thought that Rikishi or The Rock was going to interfere in that match. But to me, that's the perfect setup. You don't need the title in this match. You can have The Rock be the one that helps because every title match someone interferes, right? So that's enough. Here comes Solo out to help Roman. Nope, here comes The Rock. You have The Rock help Jey or whoever win the championship. It gives a rub to the champ, and you don't have to have The Rock be the transitional champion. Because as much as I want to see the match, I don't want. Well, I'm with you. The Rock doesn't need to be the champ.
And that win helps set up Rock versus Roman.
Yeah, exactly. Because
what if they had this insane loss happen at Royal Rumble, and The Rock helps Jey Uso win the title? He finally loses at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then Jey's the champion. A heel wins the Royal Rumble and faces Jey at WrestleMania, and that sets up WrestleMania, The Rock versus Roman, as Roman getting revenge for Rock helping Jey win the title.
And would it be so horrible to see Jimmy and Jey Uso fight each other for the championship? Would that be that bad?
Ooh,
I'm just saying.
True. That's true, too. I
mean, so I'm just saying, there's ways you could do it, but I think that would be the perfect build is to have The Rock be the one that causes Roman the belt. That way you have no title, because we don't need the title for Rock versus Roman. We just want to see it. We just want to see it. We don't need the belt. It's big enough on its own without a belt, that's for sure.
You take away the title, and then there's no pressure on who's going to win. Then I'm fine with The Rock winning. Then I'm fine with Roman winning. You tell a good story. And it's no longer like
because it seems like a no-win to me with the belt involved because if Roman wins, right? If it's a title match and Roman wins, then there's literally no one left to take the belt off. Like, who the hell, if The Rock doesn't do it, who's going to do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you put it on The Rock, how long can he really be champ? And then who takes the belt off The Rock? It seems like a no-win situation to me with the belt involved. Unless
I agree.
The Rock wins and then somehow, Roman causes it. But to me, it's better off with no belt. I still want to see it, but
I agree.
Unless The
I
Rock
agree,
decides,
no belt.
unless The Rock decides that he wants to do another actual run, then I'm okay with him winning it. Like, if you're going to do an actual run, and you don't have to wrestle every week, but, be on TV, if you're going to actually do a run, then I'm okay with him getting the belt. But as a transitional thing, it wouldn't work.
That might depend how long this writer strike goes on for.
Well, even though, like I said, he said on ESPN, but it's not totally true. You like to say you make your own schedule, but like if he's committed to a movie, 90% of the time he's not allowed to get physical in wrestling because of insurance and blah blah blah. So we get it, you're making your schedule, but it also depends on what you're actually doing. So
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
All
right. Well, do we have anything else to talk about except for our thing? That's it. All right. Listen,
I believe.
You're going to give me, I know I'm about to get to it, but you're going to give me a little help on this one. I think you'll know how to do this when I go to reveal this. But anyway, it's time for the Sheik Tweet of the Week.
Sheik Tweet.
And this week's tweet is,
Oops.
knock. You already put it up. There you go. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Go.
Go who?
Go fuck yourself, you dumb son of a bitch.
Ow.
Ow.
There you go. Screwed up. I accidentally threw that up before you said it, but yeah.
Still, there we go. A good old knock joke for our sheet.
I needed the script.
Which, by the way, of course, we shared with you last week that got it reposted, but this has literally become very popular on the X. So if we lose it, we lose it. But for now,
that's going to be sad.
Thank you to everyone who's enjoyed this. It's become very popular on the Twitters to share the Sheik Tweet of the Week. So there you go. I was actually looking for, my tweet this week, and ours that got reposted showed up at the top of Sheik's timeline there. So so pretty cool.
Awesome.
All right. Well, there we go. We rambled. We got our Sheik Tweet of the Week, and I'm super, super stoked, man, because there's so much. This WrestleMania is packed with some good stuff. I have not seen it in a long time, but I just know from some of the matches on this, like, I hope it's as good as I remember it being. I guess that's what I'll say. So, yes. Let's do it. WrestleMania 14. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I said, are you ready?
Yep. Still ready.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So then we've been talking about we talked about a little bit earlier about the writer's strike, and thanks to the writer's strike, of course, this man made a return this week. Cena's back, and Cena's going to be around at least for 6 months. And this happened, and it was actually, by the way, Solo who put this picture out of the top photos from 2006, and that's Cena staring down Umaga, who was Solo's father. And of course, then we have today with the Cena and Solo stare down. So it looks like we're going to get to see this match, which we can pretty much think that if these two face off, Cena's going to do the job, and that could be huge. I think that could be huge for Solo to get a win over Cena, even though unfortunately lately, since he's been losing all the time, it kind of, I don't know, it makes it feel less to me. You know what I mean? Like, it used to be a really big deal to beat John Cena, but I can't remember the last time Cena's won because he's just coming back and doing the jobs all the time. But
with bloodline storytelling, though, they could make it work.
Yeah. I'm still for it, and I still think it's good. I just think the rub loses a little bit. Like, if Cena's really going to be here for 6 months, then maybe you should put him in a little bit longer of a feud and have him win one. Maybe even this one. Like, if you really want to build Solo up, maybe you stretch it out a little bit and let Cena win one and then go back and forth.
He needs to be a little more dominant so it doesn't seem like, he's over his prime.
Of course you won because
losing.
Yeah, everybody's beating him. Theory beat him. Roman beat him. Yeah, everybody's beating him. Yeah, so hopefully it works out in Solo's favor. I'm still for it. It's one good thing about the Hollywood writer's strike. the other day I even read Batista said, yes,
Batista's considering it.
yeah, like I'm retired, but if they give me a call, I mean, I'm not doing nothing right now.
It's
So,
like I don't have to cross picket lines to be in wrestling, so
yeah, yeah. And he really did not plan on coming back, and it doesn't mean he will. He's just saying, hey, I mean, I'm not busy right now, so if you guys want to
yeah.
do something with me, I'm for it. And I don't blame him. I mean, why not?
Batista's one of those, every time I saw him, and now I didn't get to see him when he was younger, so I'm actually looking forward to that
Dude,
on our podcast.
One of my favorites. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't really get to see him much when he was younger, so I
You
never
didn't
really
even-
got into Batista.
And you didn't even see a lot of evolution, did you?
No. We've
Yeah.
talked about that.
Yeah, we
many
talked about
times.
that. Yeah, so that's
I never
gonna be
got
good
to
stuff.
see
Yeah.
the early days of Randy, the early days of Batista. I didn't get to see any of that.
I actually didn't become a fan of Batista till he broke away from Evolution.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Well, I think I saw him when he came back. He already left WWE and then came back, and that's when I saw him, and I just was nothing. He wasn't anything for me.
Right.
And then I became a huge fan of him because of Guardians of the Galaxy. He's Trade his Drags.
Yeah.
And
yes,
then
he is. Yeah.
now pretty much every time I see him, I now enjoy him, but his Hollywood career actually changed my opinion of Batista.
Right.
I never saw him when he was younger, when everybody liked him, and I saw he was older, because he was an older guy that came in. He wasn't exactly a young guy when he started in Evolution. But so yeah. So speaking of Hollywood, I feel like there's one other guy we need to talk about next, right?
There is this guy right here.
Feeling
the most
electrifying
man.
Shocked a little bit, because electricity is going. Yeah.
Dude, I actually got a message when it happened from my insider buddy that works for Pro Wrestling News Source, and nobody had a clue this was going to happen. Somehow they kept this under wraps. I mean, obviously everybody thought, since it is the writer's strike, there was a possibility The Rock might come back at some point. But yeah, this was totally unexpected and out of nowhere. It's become the most viewed WWE segment on YouTube and all that crap, and forever. Like, it's just blown up. The crowd pop. I don't know if you've watched it. I've watched it over and over because I'm in love with The Rock.
I haven't,
know that.
Actually.
And the crowd pop was just insane. And no one even got it at first. I didn't either, watching the clip, because Pat McAfee said, "This is the people's show. Don't you know what that means?" And then it was just quiet for a minute before The Rock's music hit, and then everybody just went ballistic. We got a people's elbow out of it. There's all these memes about, showing The Rock and Austin back in the day, and The Rock with Austin Theory, and saying then and now. Even Theory, I think, tried to make some comment about it was The Rock and Austin. Wrong Austin, Theory. Wrong Austin. But but the interesting story I have to bring up about The Rock's return isn't actually him on SmackDown. It was him on the Pat McAfee show, or on College Game Day, whatever it was. He was on ESPN with Pat McAfee and a couple other people doing an interview. And he basically said that him and Roman at WrestleMania 39 was supposed to happen. And the reason it didn't happen wasn't because of scheduling. The Rock said, "I make my schedule." It wasn't scheduling. He said it didn't happen because they couldn't figure out the right way to do it. Basically, The Rock saying he wants to do it, but he doesn't want it to just be The Rock versus Roman. He wants to give the fans something they haven't had before, blah, blah, blah. But he did all this big thing on ESPN, and some people are saying he buried Cody because he said, he's basically saying Cody got the match because he decided not to do it. I don't think in any way he was trying to bury Cody. First of all, as much as I love Cody, Cody's not The Rock. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Cody's not The Rock. If The Rock decides he's doing that title match at WrestleMania 40, you're not finishing your story, Cody, because you're not The Rock. I'm sorry. It's The Rock. I know he's not a full-time
Right?
wrestler. I know he's not a full-time guy. I get that. But he's The Rock. That's just all there is to it. Like, I think we talked about this a little bit. Again, I'm not trying to hate on the man. Cody's way better than he was back in the day. I like Cody. He's not there yet. Just because you built yourself in AEW and on the indie scene, you're not even Seth Rollins. I'm sorry. Am I wrong? I'm not trying to hate on Cody. I'm talking about as far as the big stars. You're not there yet, Cody. I'm sorry. You're not. Like, so I don't feel like The Rock buried him just because he said we didn't do the match because it didn't work We didn't figure out how. It just sounds like The Rock wants it to be more than just Rock Roman. He wants there to be something special, something different. He just wants it to be something creative, and
I
that's
think we've
fine.
already talked about how we want it to happen. We want him to question Roman being the head of the table. That's I think what most of us would like.
But I think The Rock's talking more about. I think he's talking more about too, like the actual match itself. I think he doesn't want to just have a straight up just. That's what he kept saying. I just don't want to have a plain old. Here's this match. He wants it to be something, different, something huge, something whatever. My point is, I don't feel like he buried Cody saying that.
I don't feel like he did. I don't feel like he did either, because we all kind of expected The Rock to face him.
As a matter of fact, like, I don't care who if he shows up, he's getting his match. Like, I'm not trying to knock everybody on the roster right now, but he's The Rock, people. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, he's The Rock. That's just, if The Rock wants to wrestle, he's wrestling. I'm just saying, like,
right.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about star power. It's no different than if another huge star that could still go would come back and win a match. If Austin's another one. If Austin said, I want Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, guess what?
You're getting Seth Rollins.
Rock's fighting Roman, Austin's fighting Seth, and that's what you're getting. Like, there's just certain people that have earned it. And Rock and Roman's what everybody wants anyway. I mean, that's what we want. Cody can still finish his story. Cody could fight Seth if it comes down to that.
Right.
I mean,
the way I look at it is, this is just the story that we were expecting to be told. And
yes.
I don't think The Rock was meaning to bury Cody, like you said.
I don't either. That's it didn't come off like that at all. Not at all.
I think people just like to attack things when they see these kind of things.
It's the haters again.
It's the haters. Bloody hate us.
Yep.
But
hate is gonna hate.
But I have mixed feelings about all of this, because I do want to see Rock versus Roman, because of how impressive this streak has gone with Roman Reigns. I don't know if I want, because as much as I love The Rock, I don't know if I like the idea of the part-time star being the person to break this streak.
Okay, I'm on the same page as you, right? And I don't think this match needs a title, and I'm on the same page as you. But to build to this, you have The Rock cost Roman the title. That's what I would do.
There you go. I would, what I'd like to see? If we make this a whole bloodline family situation, The Rock steps in with Jey Uso.
Yeah.
And he helps Jey Uso win the world champion. He's made of it, Jey!
And to be honest, I thought part of me thought that Rikishi or The Rock was going to interfere in that match. But to me, that's the perfect setup. You don't need the title in this match. You can have The Rock be the one that helps, because every title match someone interferes, right? So that's enough. Here comes Solo out to help Roman. Nope, here comes The Rock. You have The Rock help Jey or whoever win the championship. It gives a rub to the champ, and you don't have to have The Rock be the transitional champion. Because as much as I want to see the match, I don't want. Well, I'm with you. The Rock doesn't need to be the champ.
And that win helps set up Rock versus Roman.
Yeah, exactly. Because
what if they had this insane loss happen at Royal Rumble, and The Rock helps Jey Uso win the title? He finally loses at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then Jey's the champion. A heel wins the Royal Rumble and faces Jey at WrestleMania, and that sets up WrestleMania, The Rock versus Roman, as Roman getting revenge for Rock helping Jey win the title.
And would it be so horrible to see Jimmy and Jey Uso fight each other for the championship? Would that be that bad?
Ooh,
I'm just saying.
True. That's true, too. I mean...
So I'm just saying, there's ways you could do it, but I think that would be the perfect build, is to have The Rock be the one that causes Roman the belt. That way you have no title, because we don't need the title for Rock versus Roman. We just want to see it. We just want to see it. We don't need the belt. It's big enough on its own without a belt, that's for sure.
You take away the title, and then there's no pressure on who's going to win. Then I'm fine with The Rock winning. Then I'm fine with Roman winning. You tell a good story. And it's no longer like,
because it seems like a no-win to me with the belt involved. Because if Roman wins, right? If it's a title match and Roman wins, then there's literally no one left to take the belt off. Like, who the hell, if The Rock doesn't do it, who's going to do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you put it on The Rock, how long can he really be champ? And then who takes the belt off The Rock? It seems like a no-win situation to me with the belt involved.
I
Unless
agree.
The Rock wins and then somehow, Roman causes it. But to me, it's better off with no belt. I still want to see it, but
I agree.
unless The
I
Rock
agree,
decides,
no belt.
unless The Rock decides that he wants to do another actual run, then I'm okay with him winning it. Like if you're going to do an actual run, and you don't have to wrestle every week, but be on TV. If you're going to actually do a run, then I'm okay with him getting the belt. But as a transitional thing, it wouldn't work.
That might depend how long this writer strike goes on for.
Well, even though, like I said, he said on ESPN, but it's not totally true. You like to say you make your own schedule, but like if he's committed to a movie, 90% of the time he's not allowed to get physical in wrestling because of insurance and blah blah blah. So we get it, you're making your schedule, but it also depends on what you're actually doing. So
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
All
right. Well, do we have anything else to talk about except for our thing? That's it. All right. Listen,
I believe
you're going to give me. I know I'm about to get to it, but you're going to give me a little help on this one. I think you'll know how to do this when I go to reveal this. But anyway, it's time for the Chic Tweet of the Week.
Chic Tweet.
And this week's tweet is knock knock. You already put it up. There you go. Knock knock.
Who is there?
Go
who?
Go fuck yourself, you dumb son of a bitch.
Ow.
Ow.
There
you go.
Screwed up. I accidentally threw that up before you said it, but yeah.
But still, there we go. A good old knock knock joke for our sheet.
I needed the script.
Which, by the way, of course, we shared with you last week. They got it reposted, but this has literally become very popular on the X. So if we lose it, we lose it. But for now,
that's going to be sad.
Thank you to everyone who's enjoyed this. It's become very popular on the Twitters to share the Chic Tweet of the Week. So there you go. I was actually looking for, my tweet this week, and ours that got reposted showed up at the top of Chic's timeline there. So so pretty cool.
It's awesome.
All right. Well, there we go. We rambled. We got our Chic Tweet of the Week, and I'm super, super stoked, man, because there's so much. This WrestleMania is packed with some good stuff. I have not seen it in a long time, but I just know from some of the matches on this, I hope it's as good as I remember it being. I guess that's what I'll say. So, yes. Let's do it. WrestleMania 14. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I said, are you ready?
Yep. Still ready.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right.
All right, so here we go. Now, this was a match. It wasn't even that long, but just like every one we've seen, every time Taka gets in the ring, they find the right person to put him with. This was a light heavyweight title match between Taka and Agulia. Genie in a bottle. They told us during this match that this man right here, this masked man, is 19 years old, and he's done stuff. Actually, you're the one that said it, that I don't even know if I've seen anybody do. It was insane.
Every time Taka's in the ring, we're like, well, they're doing stuff that we didn't see in WWE at the time, except for a little bit with Mark Romero back when he was a flying character. But Aguila did things that I don't think I've ever seen. That corkscrew from to the outside, wow!
Yeah. So he runs the ropes, he does the jump over, and he corkscrews and somehow backflips and lands on the top.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. This is the exact opposite of the last match we just watched.
Yes. With no distraction, no blind eyes on this. This was great.
And this one is with someone that I've never seen, never heard of. Why didn't you give this man money and keep him there?
Yeah.
Unless it was his decision, no, I just want to wrestle WrestleMania. I'm going back to Mexico afterwards. Yeah. I get that, sure.
I would have signed this guy if I could have, for sure, because he was...
I would have signed him, he was fantastic.
Impressive. And to be 19, but like I was telling you, it's the real thing in Mexico. This guy was probably wrestling at 13, 14 years old, because Ray was about 14. In Mexico, it's different. A 14-year-old's not going to train to wrestle here. Not professionally.
Right, no.
but in Mexico, it's a common thing. So, but yeah, he was very impressive. He did an arm drag from like the top rope
That looked brutal.
that looked
Brutal.
yeah, that looked like it would have broke your back. The way Taka sells, I mean, they're both small guys, don't get me wrong, but Taka sells an ass whooping good. And for you, us that know how this works, it makes sense to say that. Like, not everybody sells getting beat up like they should. Taka does. Like, and he gets beat up almost every match. Like, that's just the way they do it with him. He takes the beating and then he makes the comeback. In this case, it was Aguila turned his back and should not have, but it was just high flying nonstop. The crowd was into it. And we've seen in the past, I know I brought it up before, but we've seen in the past where they try to bring outside people in and it doesn't work. The difference was they did it a few times where everybody was people nobody knew. This, they're doing it because they don't have a lot of light heavyweights, but it works because you're finding guys that are talented and Taka is established. So it's working in this particular situation.
Yeah, it's only working because, but it is a problem. It's clearly an issue that WWE has. They don't have a light heavyweight division, but they have a light heavyweight title. You almost need to just call this champion a visit other promotions title, because that's all it's been. Yeah. It's Taka facing off against people that aren't signed by the WWE as just random, and it's luckily it's working because they're getting people that are fantastic in the ring. Right. It's just, it would be nice if some of these stars were established stars and not just a random one-off signing. Well, because we're probably never going to see this guy again.
And that's the problem. And of course, Vince would deny this, but this is happening because WCW has a cruiserweight division at this time. And WCW is working with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So they're getting all these guys from outside to come in. But also the difference is when WCW brings in somebody from the outside and sees, wow, this guy's money, they're signing them. That's the difference. So over in WCW, they have cruiserweights. Like, they ended up signing Psychosis, who came from Mexico, and all these other guys. So they actually had a division to where WWE's not there yet. But Vince would say that's not why they brought in the light heavyweight title. But it is because they're trying to be different, but still be similar and compete and blah, blah, blah. It's just not working the same as it did with for WCW. That's all. It's just the one-offs. Because this guy, like you said, is amazing. This guy could have been on Raw at this time. Like, it totally would have worked. You could have got this guy over, but we won't see him again. At least not here. Not in this situation. But this was a good match. This was definitely, and it was what, like 6 minutes, 5-6 minutes long is all it was. It was a short match.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
It was not a very long match at all, but it was very entertaining. I said
it was 16 minutes, and we're 26 minutes, so it was like less than 10 minutes. Because we also had one of the best promos we've seen on this podcast, but let's continue this one first.
5 minutes and 50 seconds, by the way, for that match. That's all it was. But every minute of it was entertaining. There was no wasted motion. These guys were nonstop going back and forth at each other. It was all high flying, and I'm going to give this 4 Christina Aguileras.
I'm giving this 4.5. Hire some damn light heavyweight wrestlers.
Light heavyweight wrestlers.
Because this has been fun as hell, but it would be nice if he was facing against more established stars.
Yes, it would be. After this, then we got one of the greatest promos ever from the guy that is very quickly becoming the Rock that we all know and love.
Oh my gosh.
We heard him call himself the People's Champ. And one of his most famous lines was used for the first time in this interview. If you smell, or can you smell, what the Rock is cooking?
In the best way ever.
And this was the first time he used that line, by the way. This was the first time he used, can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
So, oh my gosh. And the way he used it, he's talking about if he was the judge and the jury. He's like, well, actually, if I was a jury, he's like, it'd be a hung jury if you smell what the Rock is cooking.
Yes. And that is the first time he used that line. So there's some history.
So good.
A very historic moment. Yes. Yes, good stuff.
Then he talks about if he was in the White House, he'd be like, he's like, I hope everything was orally wrong. Morally wrong. The Rock just being the Rock.
And that
was a great.
the oral reference with the White House is because this is around the Monica Lewinsky time.
Yeah,
That's why he made the oral reference. Yeah, like so. This is The Rock showing. You know, we saw it when he had his series, The Young Rock. This is when he started just being himself and taking these chances. And but believe it or not, as much as I love him and as much as you love him, The Rock did have someone that wrote a lot of this stuff for him, and he's never denied that. But you still have to be able to deliver it and to make it work and to make it get over.
Well, it's just like, you know, there's a thing about there's actors and then there's script writers, you know. And yeah, we praise the people that can think on their feet more, but you know, an actor needs to be able to take that script and make it fantastic.
Yeah.
And he did. And he does. And
it came out of
that poor interviewer just looked so uncomfortable every time he made all these comments.
You know, but The Rock was willing, and we saw it a little bit on the series that unfortunately got canceled. The Rock was willing to try things because he knew he needed to get over. And when he met Brian Gewirtz, who wrote a lot of this stuff, they became friends right away, while no one else really wanted to work with him. You know, like everybody else was like, I don't need a writer, I could do it myself, and blah, 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 blah. And look, I think The Rock did pretty well. I think it turned out just fine. You know, not everybody can just pick the mic up and ramble, and that's fine. Even if someone writes it, you have to know how to deliver it to get it over. So we got to see a great match, and we got to see a great promo. And they didn't take a break in between the last match and the next one, so we know we're about to see somebody from DX, because the DX band is there live to perform their music. So we're about to get some.
Well, we know it must be Triple H because
it's not Shawn.
We know what Shawn. We know
and
what
it's not
Shawn's
the Outlaws, and it's not the Outlaws because we know what they're doing. So it's got to be Triple H. Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be the game.
Yeah.
All right, let's check it out. All right, so here we go, and another good match, back-to-back good matches. Our next one is for the coveted European Championship, and it's Triple H along with China coming out to their music performed live by the DX band, defending against Owen Hart. Now, by the way, if you notice, they showed us some footage before the match started where Owen had a cast on his ankle, and they attacked him with a ball bat, and they were selling this ankle injury during the whole match. But by the way, he legit did have an injured ankle, and he legit had the cast removed this day and went out there and wrestled in a match. So that tells you a lot about Owen Hart. But I mean, really, look who's in this match. So do we really have to tell you that this was a great match? This was a great match. I mean, Triple H did the classic thing that should have been done because they've been selling the ankle, so he worked on the ankle the entire time. I forgot to mention that China was handcuffed to Sergeant Slaughter, Commissioner Slaughter, so she couldn't interfere. So she couldn't interfere. And I enjoyed that little bit too because they would show shots every once in a while and you'd see Sergeant Slaughter with the chain. Because for some reason, if you're going to handcuff yourself to China, we're going to use long handcuffs instead of like a normal pair. So that way he could pull on the chain to get her, like, you know, whatever. I get it. It's wrestling.
It didn't make sense, but it made sense for
would make it. But it was the visual of seeing him try to hold her. You know, before they even cuffed her, I was like, you want me to believe that China couldn't just knock him out and drag his ass around the ring if she decided to? Like, come on.
Yeah.
China's going to do what she wants to do. That's all I'm saying. But
right.
Great. It was a great match. It was good back and forth with a lot of good spots in it. Owen, I'm sure, was in some pain, but he did really well selling the ankle. The crowd was amped like the entire match. This place is they weren't real crazy about the first one, the Battle Royal, except for when Sonny and LOD came out. But this whole match, you could hear the crowd was into it the entire time. And China was selling that, like they kept talking about how China can taste it. She just wants to interfere. You know she does. She can taste it. And her visuals, like, that's part of this too, right? She wasn't in the match, she wasn't talking, but she was selling that fact that she really, really, really wanted to interfere in the match, and I thought it was all done really well. It was a good match.
I agree. I liked it a lot. I mean, it's Triple H, it's Owen Hart, two of the best to ever grace the ring, and you had good story because you had DX cheating, you had China throwing the
powder, the salt,
powder,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is, white powder on Sergeant Slaughter. and then getting up there to do the low blow on Owen Hart, and then of course icing on the cake, you had to do the pedigree.
A low blow
And,
into a pedigree. Game over, buddy. Sorry, Owen.
That's right. China took care of the lower aspect. Triple H took care of the higher aspect.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what we're waiting on
She
to
goes
see too.
low,
Like,
he goes high. You know.
I knew China was going to interfere. I was just waiting to see how it was going to happen. And then after the match, she finally did knock Sergeant Slaughter. You know, punched him and knocked him down, and then she picked him up and threw him into the guardrail, and he went over.
Yeah. Probably injuring some fans on the way. You know.
Yeah. But see, again, like this is one of those matches I watched, and we talk all the time about how I guess the way we view matches is different because we know how it works now and blah, blah, blah. And they did so many little things right in this match that just made it so good. The storytelling and everything with just little subtle things, the looks on Chyna's face. Triple H is one of the best sellers ever in the business. He oversold a couple times in this match, but it wasn't in a bad way. You know what I mean? Like Triple H could do that. No. He can sell something and make it look 10 times more painful than it should be without it being a ridiculous sell. Like, yeah, this was a really good match. Just as good, if not better. I love his ridiculous sells too, though. Oh yeah, when they're appropriate. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's just such a wide range. Again, I'm all for him. I'm the one that keeps advocating and telling people he wasn't on top because of Stephanie. Like, he's already starting to be on top. He's not even with Stephanie yet. So get out of here with that. It's because he married Stephanie stuff, you know. Like Triple H is one of the best.
Triple H has been one of my favorites. I mean, he has been my favorite wrestler for most of my life.
Right.
I think the only time that I started changing my mind on who my favorite wrestler was when CM Punk showed up.
Yeah.
But Triple H has been my favorite. I loved Triple H. Triple H and Shawn Michaels literally got me back into wrestling because I didn't really watch it. I didn't even like it. And the DX started happening. Suck It started happening. Like, he brought me into wrestling. If it wasn't for Generation X and Triple H and Shawn Michaels, I would probably not be a wrestling fan today.
Right. Yeah, so. And, of course, Owen is Owen, and I wish Owen would have. But Owen, again, man, Owen's just the drop kick he did off the top rope. Everything Owen does looks legit. You know, Owen was just so good in that ring. I still think Owen was a little better than Brett. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. And it was a great match, great storytelling, back to back. It's going to be hard to top this. We'll see if they can keep this trend going. But I'm going to give this one 4.5 pairs of handcuffs.
I'm going to go 4. 4 nut shots.
Oh yeah, the jewels. Those are the McMahon family jewels.
And I'm going 4 because I liked this episode or this match a lot. I think that Taka match was a little better, so I don't feel like it should get the same score as Taka.
And for me, I went higher on this one just because I think the story and everything involved put it over a little bit more than the other one for me. That's all.
I still gave it a 4. It's not like I had an issue.
Oh yeah, it's still up there. It's too high. So
Taka was just, that match was, and I think Taka's getting, and maybe I should stop having low expectations for Taka Michinoku matches.
Oh yeah,
when he keeps on facing people I've never heard of, facing people I've never heard of, it's like your expectations are just going to be low there because he's not facing someone you know. And when they become so good, it really pops it up because you're low expectations, high win, you know? But yeah, it's still great. This was a great match. 4, liked it a lot. Liked the story. Love the people in the ring, outside of the ring. All good.
All good. All right.
I mean, this is Slaughter as I know him. You know, I didn't watch wrestling as much back then, so I didn't get to see him too much. And really, he wasn't in a lot of, like, we've gone through these. He wasn't in a whole lot back in the day.
No.
But, you know, he was there a little bit. This is how I remember him as Commissioner Slaughter, as Sergeant Slobber. And he was like their first feud with DX when DX showed up.
Yeah. Yep.
So then we go on to Different Authority.
Yeah, because I always think about the iconic one when they wore the face shields on Raw and they had the windshield wipers.
Oh, yeah. The little
Slaughter was spits.
That's why they call him Sergeant Slobber, you know?
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm excited where we're going with this.
Yeah.
So far, it's been great. And I already
We're on
know
a
there's
roll.
some great stuff coming up.
There's still a lot of
So-
great stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Let's see
go.
what's next.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.
All right, and here we go, our next match. And I believe they said this was only the second time ever at WrestleMania. Something like that we've had a mixed or intergender, however you prefer to say it, tag team match. And it is Mark Mero and Sable against Luna Vachon and Goldust. And of course, we got a package about the feud. We know Mark Mero is the poster child for domestic violence right now. And the big storyline is he's jealous because people care more about Sable than him. I don't know why. If Sable came back right now, people would care about her more than Brock, Mark. So don't feel bad about it. But there you go. And as always, my co-host managed to find the exact interesting attire that the artist formerly known as Goldust wore.
Yeah, I like the picture too. No, sometimes when I find these, I don't find the best pose or the best picture, but I really like the picture I did find, and just
that's a
Luna.
good one. Yeah, it's a good one, and you got the interesting gear that he chose for this as well. And I didn't have too high of expectations for this, and it did start off a little slow, but really the crowd again is amped up, and they were into it the whole time with the perspective of getting to see Sable. Luna was playing full on heel, and the first time Sable got tagged in and Luna was in the ring, she just immediately got out of the ring because she didn't want no part of Sable. We got to see Sable also super kick Goldust. That was pretty cool. And this was legit Sable's first match, and she did some stuff that looked pretty good besides her outfit. Yeah, she pulled off some good moves, and Mero broke out some stuff we hadn't seen in a while. Mero did that like the backflip off the top rope. He did a couple of his high flying moves that we were just talking about how he had changed his style. So it ended up being better, I guess, than I expected it to be. And it started off slow, but it started to pick up once the women actually got in there and started going at it.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice seeing women wrestling again, and this must be
it's
the
been
start
a minute.
of it.
Yeah. And Sable looks good. I mean, I'm sure she's been training up to this point, and she's probably had some practice matches. But for your first wrestling match to be WrestleMania, that's a pretty big. And they mentioned this was Mark Mero's first WrestleMania, and he's been here for a couple years. So that's And by the way, this is a storyline, but in real life, this started to be an issue with Mero. He really was getting jealous of Sable's success. So they are using it as a storyline, but it's a real life thing going on right now too.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yes. Excuse me while I have some Starbucks.
You
anyway,
son of a bitch.
It's not Starbucks, it's just the cup, man. Just trying to get some promo. Just trying to get some advertisers.
Trying to get Starbucks to be like, these guys. I think I want to advertise. They already advertise. Well, why would they pay us to advertise when you're advertising for free? See, you made a mistake there.
I would never advertise anything for free. I need to drink some water real quick.
But why?
Oh no, boy!
Oh no, that's gay beer.
Oh my! Anyway,
your drink's gonna turn you gay.
So even though I can't say that this match was as good as the last two matches. I can't say that. But it turned around. It started off a little slow. It started off a little boring. Then it got more interesting, and the crowd loved having the women in the ring. The ending was good, but it was a little funny because the ref was literally about to count Sable pinning Goldust, which is not a thing in this match because this is not a mixed tag match. They do it different now. There is times now where the women can fight the men in it, but back then that wasn't a thing. If a woman got tagged in, both women were legal, and that's the way it went.
Yeah.
So, but he did almost count Sable pinning Goldust, so that was kind of funny. And you called it, of course. Luna got on the top rope and went to body splash, and Sable got out of the way. But Sable did a power bomb that looked good. She did Mark Mero's whatever it's called TKO thing, and it looked better than the one Mero did. Yeah, it looked better than when Mero did it. And
well, hers actually worked, and he got the pin.
True. Sable got the win, and then I thought immediately when Sable got the win, Mero was going to start acting like an ass, get out. But he did the opposite and started celebrating like he was the one that actually won the match, even though he did not.
Right.
So that was good too, because we're going to get close to the end where Sable's about to become a really huge star and Mero's about to be gone. So we're getting close to that. It's right around the corner, but
it's kind of weird that these two are feuding because they're both heels. I mean, unless Mark Mero's considered a face, but being a domestic abuser, I hope not.
The only face in this whole feud is Sable.
Sable.
Yeah.
She's with the.
But
heel.
You're right.
It
is interesting
weird.
because they even showed us in the video package that these guys have also been a team here for a while too. And
the last time we saw them, they were tagged. They were
still a tag team.
They were tagging. Yeah, they were tagging in the last match we were watching, and the Luna and Sable at the end. Because remember, that was the match where Mark Mero was like, "We only have enough room for one beautiful woman, so Sable, get in the back." Yeah. So the last time we saw them, they
go
teamed.
cook me a snack for after the match.
Yeah,
get in there. Yeah,
indeed.
The good old days. Last match we had a woman handcuffed to a guy, and now we have a guy. Whatever. It's fine anyway.
Attitude Era. We even got the scratch logo now, so it's Attitude Era.
I forgot to bring that up, and I'm glad you did. Yeah.
I just noticed the cover art does not have it. If you look on the WrestleMania, that's the old WWE.
If you look when we're watching the matches, it's still the old logo on like the ring apron and stuff too. But we did get the scratched logo and like
so it must have just transitioned. It
had to
and
just
they made
transition.
The cover.
Yeah.
They made the cover art before the transition.
Yes.
So
because we've discussed it before, they make their promotional stuff like this months. Well, at least back then, maybe not as much now, but back then it was 6 months before it even came out. They would make this stuff because it had to go to the cable companies and such. So yeah, we do have the scratch logo now, just not on the WrestleMania logo. And as far as this one goes, it ended up being pretty entertaining. It was good to see the early breaking ground here of getting the women back. So in a surprising turn of events, I'm going to give this 3 Sable bombs.
I'm going to give this. I'm going to agree. It's 3 TKOs. We'll go with TKO. I'll go with the finishing move that actually
won.
Finished the match. That finished the match. Yeah.
I mean, I'd finish that match, but that's a whole other podcast. Anyway. All right. Well, we kind of know because before the commercial break they teased us, so we know what's next. It's the Battle of the Rocks.
Battle of the Rocks.
The Rock versus Ken Shamrock Intercontinental title match. That's what we got next. Let's check it out.
The loser has to stop calling themselves a Rock.
Right.
Ken's going to be Ken Sham.
Ken ShamWow? That could be a...
Rock is going to be just the.
And his opponent, Yeah, that would work.
Yeah. All right, let's watch this.
Move on.
Having no problem with that balance,
All right, so here we go. Our next match is for the WWF Intercontinental title, and it's The Rock, along with the Nation of Domination, minus Farouk, against Ken Shamrock. And they told us in commentary that if The Rock was disqualified, he would lose his championship. I was kind of, I didn't remember this match, so I was shocked in a few ways. One, I was shocked because it didn't go on that long. 2, I was shocked because Rock was getting that ass whooped. Ladies and gentlemen, Shamrock was making Rock, other than the chair shot the Rock pulled off when the ref wasn't looking. Yeah, Shamrock was whooping that ass, and I was telling you they were showing footage of this feud, and they showed this chair shot on Raw, the end of the chair, and you could just hear it and everything. And I've heard Ken Shamrock himself tell the story that he told The Rock he wanted him to legit hit him as hard as he could with that chair. And you can tell in that clip from Raw that, because, his face is just imprinted on it like Shamrock was a lunatic. And they showed that real good here. And you pointed out that maybe that's why you were such a fan of his back then. Because you said,
he's just crazy.
Yeah, and that's all they went with. Because, again, Shamrock, even though I didn't like UFC when it came out, I'm still not a huge fan. But UFC was huge, so Shamrock was already established as the guy from UFC. So they just kind of rolled with that and kept him as, who he was, the most dangerous man in the world. But this was probably, yeah, his biggest, like, and now I'm remembering back when I was young that Shamrock did this a lot. Like, he would snap a lot and just start taking out whoever was around. But he got his ankle lock on and The Rock tapped, and I even had a moment like, oh shit, did he just win? And he did.
Yeah, he
He did. And he went to put the ankle lock back on, and the Nation started coming in, and he took all those guys out, and then he put the ankle lock back on again. And of course, then here came the refs and security, and he took them all out. And you said something about, look at the bump that ref took, and that guy in the suit. Well, those refs that Shamrock took out were actually indie wrestlers they brought in.
They normally always are, but
it was still good bumping. It was,
cells.
and even if I wouldn't have known that, I knew when I looked at those guys, I'm like, none of those guys are WWF referees. We know who they're, because the real referees came in after that, So, but again,
the ones that didn't take the bumps.
This whole match again with Shamrock looked legit. And of course he's with The Rock, so by the end of the match, like when he's got the ankle lock on, Rock had been busted open, so he's bleeding and he's just selling that pain on his face. And while all this other stuff's going on with the refs and all that, Rock is literally laying like halfway off the apron, and he's still just selling it, blood running out of his mouth.
Blood just running out of his mouth.
They're all on a stretcher like, Rock, this is why if The Rock wants the main event at WrestleMania 40, he's getting it, period. And that's why. So it was short, but man, this was entertaining. It was fun, and this is probably
it was a lot of fun.
Probably the first time we've seen The Rock get handled like that since he's been here, I would say.
See, Ken Shamrock did the crazy angle well.
Yeah.
You know who didn't do the crazy angle well?
Who?
That damn Bob Backlund.
Oh yeah, Bob. Yeah.
They tried this crazy angle before, and it flopped.
Yeah, no, it did
Bob
not.
Backlund sucks. Sucks.
He was so bad at it, I forgot about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Ken Shamrock legit looks insane.
Yeah.
Crazy and intense. Like, I legit think he's snapping and going nuts every single time.
Yeah, they're subtle on commentary. Like, do you think he realizes where he is right now? And blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's an intensity, and he sells it well.
This is twice in a row where we're like, wait a minute, I don't remember Ken Shamrock winning the title ever. And then, reverse.
I actually thought
because that happened last time too.
I thought he won it and kept it though at Mania. So to be honest, he does at some point. He's Intercontinental Champion at least once. I know he is. I just don't remember when it happens. They're obviously want to stretch this out more because I thought this was the moment. I remember telling you on one of the other shows that I thought this was when Ken Shamrock had his big moment. Well, technically he did, but it got reversed because he decided to beat everybody up. So he got it taken away from him right away.
Sometimes you just got to beat the shit out of everyone.
Sometimes if they don't want to get out of your way, you just
destroy everyone in the ring. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
anyone of my Yep.
Yeah.
Insane. But another good match, another fun match, and I'm gonna give this 3 chair shots.
I'm gonna give this 3.5. Insane on the membrane.
Insane on the brain. Insane. Maybe that should have been Ken Shamrock's ring entrance. Got no brain.
Yeah, right.
Back it up.
Get some Cypress Hill down there.
Yeah, that would have been good. All right. Well, I believe next we get to see the first ever dumpster match for the tag team titles.
Woo. Let's
do it.
Exciting.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, and we only have 3 more matches left.
Well, there are 2 matches that are really long. That would be the main event.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Brother versus brother, but yeah, we have 3 left, yeah.
Brother versus brother. Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, this has been good.
This has been a really good Mania.
If you just cut off the first 16 minutes, it's been a great WrestleMania.
Great WrestleMania. It has. And I don't see this not being entertaining.
Ignore that.
Yeah,
I don't see any of these 3 matches being bad.
Me neither.
So here we go.
Let's check it out.
Here's the cover. Hook to the leg. He did it.
All right, so our next match was the first ever dumpster match for the WWF Tag Team Championship, and it's Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack against Road Dogg and Mr. Ass, the New Age Outlaws, and another good match. Okay, got to look at everything like it is, right? This isn't supposed to be a wrestling match. This is a freaking dumpster match, so it's a hardcore match, and you have two legends of hardcore in this match, and there were so many insane spots, and it was fun.
Oh.
The crowd was into it. Look, there's certain things you can't fake, and there was one point when they literally took Cactus and sent him into the dumpster. Just and you can't fake that. You know what I mean? Like,
that power bomb into the dumpster.
Power bomb into the dumpster on
with Terry
poor
Funk.
53-year-old Terry Funk. They had to mention that 100 times just so we know that Terry Funk's 53. Had to mention that like 100 times. There was actually a cool spot where Road Dogg was against the dumpster and Cactus went to do a flip outside, like a backflip one to him, and so Mr. Ass came off the rope and drop kicked Road Dogg out of the way, and Cactus went right into the dumpster. Like, man. Let's see who was on the ladder. It was Billy and Cactus was on the ladder, and Road Dogg hit Chainsaw with a sheet tray, and he fell back into the ladder, and Road Dogg and Cactus both fell into the dumpster. The lid was closed. They went through the lid and everything. Like, there were just so many hard shots in this match. And I don't care if those baking sheets hurt or not. When you get hit with them, they make a great noise. And that's what matters. You know what I mean? It's a great sound effect. And you have to sell it right, so.
I'm really hoping that they just chucked some sound effects for Terry Funk. I'm hoping there was a mattress inside that when he took that powerbomb, because ow!
Yeah, that powerbomb looked.
Ow!
And that's probably where at the end of the match we noticed he had like this big welt right on his lower back that was bleeding, and it was just.
It looked bad.
It looked bad. But it was very well done. And actually, after that powerbomb, they started to fight towards the back with Cactus. So in my head, I'm thinking they did it because Terry's got to be hurt, right? So I'm thinking that's why they're going to the back to fight, to give Terry some time. But no, they were giving Terry time to show up back there with a forklift. Yeah. That's what they were doing. Billy got a double arm DDT onto a pallet, and then Road Dogg got thrown on top, and they ended up putting him in a dumpster that was backstage. Very convenient that there was a giant dumpster in the building.
Yeah, right. I mean,
right.
It's nice. Yeah,
but,
sure.
But overall, I mean, like I said, this is not your classic, but for what it was, this was a hardcore match. This was a fun, hard-hitting, bloody, entertaining tag team championship dumpster match. Might be the best dumpster match I've ever seen. It's the only dumpster match I've ever seen, but it might be the best one.
I feel like there might be more, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Again, it was, and again, I feel like we're on a roll. Like, I'm going to have to look at my rankings. I'm pretty sure I know what WrestleMania I have first, but this one here, like, it's been a while. I don't remember watching one where every match has been, minus the first one, every match has been good. We haven't went below a 3 this whole time except for that first match. Like, every match has been.
And you tried to go with 3 for.
I did.
For some.
I was blinded. Blinded by the light.
Wake up like a douche in the middle of the night.
Yes, I was blinded by the light on that one, so we agreed on that. So, but a good match. I'm pretty sure Chainsaw and Cactus don't have the titles for very long, but it was a good win, and I'm guessing a lot of people. I remember back. I don't remember. I know I watched this when it was live, and I guarantee you, I never expected Cactus and Funk to be the ones to win because I know I was a huge New Age Outlaws fan right off the rip. So I'm sure I wouldn't have expected.
They were a lot of fun.
This outcome,
and they had some more great lines as they were walking down. I mean,
as always, Road Dogg is one of the best ever on the mic. I mean, that's
he's
just
great on
fact.
the mic.
Yeah, he is great on the mic, and that's part of what helped get him over. Not that he couldn't wrestle, but I mean, he doesn't look like your average superstar.
Wrestler.
That's for sure. Yeah. So, but fun match, entertaining.
Billy Gunn does though. And he's
Billy Gunn looks like a star, and he's got the Mr. Ass on his tights now. Like, yeah, they're getting to that top-notch level. I've said it many times on the show. New Age Outlaws are one of my top favorite, probably in my top 5 tag teams of all time. For me personally,
I can agree with that. They're a great tag team. Absolutely.
Yeah. They had everything, even before. Like, they're not even quite DX yet, but they still have that. They have it. They just
I'm pretty sure the next Raw they will be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the next Raw. Yeah. Well, yeah.
As a matter of fact,
it is the next Raw. As a matter of fact, yeah.
Because I believe you told me Sean leaves after this one. So
yes, Sean does leave after this. Yes.
I think they join right after he leaves. So
yeah,
probably
because we got to remember at this point, Sean's back is already Yeah, he shouldn't even be getting in the
Out.
ring at this point. Yeah, his back is already broke from that casket match, and he shouldn't even be getting into this match. But he's going to do it anyway because he's Shawn Michaels. So
Fair enough.
We're close to that. But so as far as this goes, yeah, entertaining, fun match, very good, very well done. The ending was creative too, so I don't hate it. And praise Terry Funk, man, because look, there were a lot of shots at it, but we keep going back to the power bomb, and it's just the fact that, yeah, that power bomb was brutal. It looked worse than the falling off the ladder, in my opinion. You know, so
No, it did.
it did. It looked worse.
Falling off a ladder is fine. Taking a power bomb.
yeah, it was rough. So yeah, I'm gonna give this 3 bags.
I'm gonna give you said 3?
Yeah.
I'm giving this a 4. This is 4. Can someone bring a doctor to poor Terry Funk?
Poor Terry Funk. Terry, are you okay?
Save that poor man.
Okay, Terry? Good stuff. When we know we only have 2 matches left. 2 matches left.
Somebody get your grandpa. He's dying out there.
Oh, but he did die this year. Remember, we just lost Terry Funk not that long ago. My bad. It's fine.
My bad.
It's fine. We'll cut that. We'll just cut that.
Cut that.
All right. Well, let's hope, because I do not remember this next match, and I know I watched it. But let's hope that this next match leads up to this hype and this build-up that we've had for like the past, what's it been now, 6 months maybe or something.
6 months
probably.
We've had to
build up to this.
Maybe longer.
And Undertaker refusing, but we're finally going to get it. The first ever one-on-one match between The Undertaker and Kane. Let's check it out. All right, I think before we discuss our next match, because we like to stay current, we should talk about some of that. My phone, earlier you were getting a bunch of stuff from your buddy. Now my phone's blowing up, so there's all this stuff going on right now with WWE. So let's just real quick address this. One breaking news that has come out is starting next year, SmackDown is officially going back to USA. We just discussed this, I think, last week, that it might end up on Prime or Disney or something, but it's been officially announced that SmackDown is going back to USA. So USA don't mind throwing that money around, you know what I'm saying? But we got some releases. We got several releases that came out today, and it is let's see, released by WWE are Emma, Riddick Moss, Top Dollar, Elias, Rick Boogs, Aaliyah, Mustafa Ali, and the 2 names that surprised me, Shelton Benjamin and Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, who's been there for over 20 years, gone.
Yeah.
Just now, because my phone continues to blow up, to add to this story, it is being reported that Triple H had no information or was not consulted about any of these cuts. Triple H had no idea they were coming and had no input on these cuts. So here we go. We're 1 week into the official merger, and there's a lot happening. It's also being reported that NXT cuts are going to be released later today. So there you go. There's some stuff going down in the WWE. Now, technically, to be fair, we have to remember Triple H is not on the board anymore, and Triple H is only head of creative. So even though he's been there a long time and technically he should have input, I believe under his job, he actually does not have input when it comes to who's signed and who's released. He's not head of talent relations. He is head of creative. So
now I have a question.
Is it right? No, but go ahead. What's your question?
Yeah, I have a question. I heard Elias is gone.
Yes.
Does that mean Ezekiel is gone as well?
They have not made that statement yet. I'm curious about that myself. Ezekiel said in a press conference he will stay if they let him. Fuck my brother. That was his words, not mine. So I don't know. I saw that he was a nicer guy than that, but he was like, "Fuck Elias."
Yeah.
I'm in.
Ezekiel's a star. What can I say?
Yeah,
Ezekiel's a star.
he's a star. So there you go.
I think he's going to come back. I heard he got injured. That Kevin Owens destroyed him.
Right.
about a year ago. But you know what? I think Ezekiel's going to stay and come back.
Right now, of course, the rumors are going to start swirling who's going to go where and all this, but I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if you know this. A lot of people may and may not, whatever, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dolph took a break from wrestling. People will probably say AEW, but Dolph does stand-up comedy. And if you
Does he?
remember, yes, he does. And actually, a couple of years ago, he left to pursue his career. And I forget who all was injured, but they ended up talking him into coming back, and he's been there ever since. But yeah, Dolph's a stand-up comedian. Now, is AEW possible? Yes, his brother's down there in AEW, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But there you go, and we'll see who gets released from NXT. So stay tuned. I just thought we should address it while we were on there, even though
Absolutely,
it's coming out
absolutely.
till Saturday, but we tried to stay current. So and
This is
SmackDown to
current
USA
as
so
of
there you go.
Thursday.
This is real current stuff still popping through. So all right, well now our next match is the one we've been waiting for, and we talked about it off air. And to be honest, if you include the whole time since the introduction of the story, it's been about a year build up for this match between Kane and The Undertaker. We got a video package before it started. And Pete Rose came out to be the special guest announcer. I can't believe I forgot about
Pete
this
Rose.
WrestleMania moment. So we got the illegal gambler that played for the Cincinnati Reds coming out at Boston to piss
He's
the
also
fans
a
off.
great baseball player. I'm
He
just
was.
saying.
He was a great baseball player, and he should be in the Hall of Fame, but they're never going to let him in because of the gambling. So there you go.
Yeah, I know.
He's been fighting that for years. So he did introduce Kane, but all he got for his troubles was a tombstone, a really good one. I'm glad that Kane's been Kane for a while now. That got his tombstone down a little better because I cringe a lot more than I used to. Ever since we watched the Steve Austin thing over again,
Yeah.
they just make me go like,
It's like, ooh.
and then
Things that make you go, ooh.
and then later on your own, if you watch the clip from Moxley last night, it's the same thing where you're like, oh, the head's just.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I forgot about that famous WrestleMania moment. By the way, Pete Rose is in the WWE Hall of Fame, so screw you, Major League Baseball. He's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Is it for just this moment?
No, because he's been around a couple times, and I believe he's at WrestleMania again next year. And then he made a few appearances on some Raws and stuff as well. But taking a tombstone for Kane, I mean, that's a pretty good reason to get in there. But yeah,
I wasn't knocking it. I was just.
I know he does another Mania. I know he does another Mania, and I'm pretty sure it's next year. I think he does them back to back. So,
okay.
And then next we get Undertaker, and I was wondering, is this our first special entrance we've seen in our WrestleManias? Because we got the Druids.
No, not necessarily. I mean, we had the Shawn Michaels coming down on a rope or on a.
Oh, the zip line. Yeah, we had the zip line. Yeah.
I'd say that's a special.
That's special. So not our first special, but maybe our first theatrical kind of deal. I don't remember the Druids coming.
They're not
it's 98, so I guess it just seems like I'm like, wow.
Druids should be coming soon.
It seems really early for the Druids is what I thought, but I guess not, because here they were. Here were the Druids. It's the first time they did it. I believe later on they make sure that their hoods are big enough that it covers their faces, like you could see all these guys, but still it was cool. Undertaker came out in the I don't even know what you call that outfit, but it had it's like a gothic robe type deal, I guess. I don't know. Something Dracula would wear, maybe. I don't know how you describe it, but it's kind of like the gothic or Grim Reaper, yeah.
Are you talking about
his gear,
Undertaker's outfit, or the Druids?
No, I'm talking about Undertaker.
Oh yeah, I don't know what you call it.
I don't know exactly what you call it. I believe it's a jacket, but it has the spike here, like would be on like a cape kind of deal. But it looks cool. It looks cool. Look. Great entrance, like always. And it was a good match. It was a good match. I loved the stare down at the very beginning to make you realize that Kane is bigger than The Undertaker. He's taller and actually bigger. And you see that when they stare down. And there it is. Now you can see the outfit. That's what Taker wore to the ring. I don't know. I like it. I just don't know exactly what you call it. But
I don't know what you call it either. I don't know if it's got a name or a proper name.
Right. But anyway, that's it. There you go. That's the one he wore. But and of course, as you can see, we are keeping track, and the streak is now at 7-0. Spoiler: Taker won this. 7-0. But this was a good match, and of course, they're trying to keep the theme and build Kane as this big monster, and he definitely was dominating at several points in this match. And the stairs got involved at a certain point, but I'm glad that because Glenn Jacobs has already been around for a while at this point, because Isaac Yankem, all the other crappy gimmicks he got stuck with, fake Diesel and all that. But one of the biggest things they wanted him to do when he became Kane was to be a lot like The Undertaker, and that's why he had to learn how to do the tombstone, and he wanted all his mannerisms and everything to match. I'm just glad they gave him this much time to be Kane, because you can see a difference. I think you can see a difference in his performance in this match. Not just the
Agreed.
tombstone, but overall as a character. He needed that time to get all those little things down. Because you can think what you want about wrestling, but wrestling's like any other sport. It's one thing to practice everything, but you need to actually do it to get better. So I'm glad they gave him this time to work as Kane, so he got better for this match. Now, Glenn Jacobs says he feels like he let Undertaker down in this match. I didn't see that. I thought it was a good match. There were like two.
I thought it was decent, yeah.
Yeah, there were like 2 botches that are forgivable because, again, you know, I get it. That's fine. You're wrestling the Undertaker at WrestleMania, who at this point, like, he's already like the leader backstage, and he's like the guy, you know. So it's a big deal. I get it, but you take out those 2 botches. I thought this was a great match, and it continued to tell this story. There was a point where Undertaker was down, and Kane went in the ring to distract the ref, and Paul Bearer was getting his shots in, which didn't look like they hurt at all, but it doesn't matter. It's still part of the story, you know. And for the first time ever, someone kicked out of the tombstone. Not once, but twice. So there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's 2 moments I forgot that also happened on this WrestleMania, and obviously this isn't done. This is only the first time they're going to fight. So.
Oh, yeah. They got to fight some more before they become the Brothers of Destruction.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, we shouldn't be too far away from the Inferno match, which is going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen the Inferno match?
Yeah, doesn't Kane lose by just having like his arm just catch on fire?
Yeah, because that's how you win an Inferno match. You have to catch your opponent on fire. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's just his arm. It's like so small.
Yeah.
Mind you, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't want them killing each other out there, but yeah.
In real life, it was dangerous. I've seen interviews with both of them where they said they lost some body hair and stuff because every time they shot that flame up, I mean, they're right there by that flame.
Yeah, they got singed.
Yeah, it was not a good idea. I remember that when that was a mode, though, in the game, and it was fun because every time you did a power move on somebody, like every time you body slammed them or choke slammed them or something,
the fire goes up.
Yeah. So
I do remember the match, and I do remember playing it in the game, too.
Yeah, so there you go. And I think they did one other one. I think there's only ever been 2 Inferno matches. I think they realized that they were just not that good of a idea, taking it a little too far. But anyway, good match. Like I said, the few botches I can definitely forgive. They're continuing to tell this story, and the fact that Kane, dominated this match, but still got beat. But it took 3 tombstones to defeat him, and that was one of the problems too. Like the first tombstone looked a little bad. Kane's head was sideways when he went down. Like it looked a little rough. The third one though was perfect. But again, Kane's bigger than the Undertaker. He's a big guy to be picking up, so I get it. It can be difficult.
Yeah.
Overall, it was entertaining. The entrances were great, and we're going to continue to see this feud build on until the day they become, a tag team. It's still entertaining, still a good match. But I think I'm just going to go with, well, you know what? I'm going to go with 3 tombstones. That's perfect. 3 tombstones.
3 tombstones. That really, really fits.
Slid right in there, yeah, perfectly.
I'm going to go with... I think 3 is good. You took the tombstone idea, so I should have gone 4 because technically Kane does a tombstone on Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, yeah. I just didn't think it was quite there. It was still a good match. Not as good as some of the other ones we saw. It still wasn't quite there. But
I was hovering between 3 and 3.5.
Right, yeah.
It's a decent match, but I don't think it was a great match. It was decent.
Yeah.
And it was cool that this is the first... I think Kane is the perfect choice for the first person to actually kick out of the tombstone.
Yeah, definitely.
Not once, but twice.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, you have this whole year-long storyline between them as brothers. Like, yeah, absolutely. The story, it made sense. It worked. And Kane is also considered a monster, so it was all good.
Yeah, definitely the way to do it, for sure.
All right.
Alrighty.
Are we ready to watch this final match?
That is it. It is main event time. It is Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels for the WWF title. And if I remember right, Mike Tyson is just the special enforcer. I don't think he's the actual, ref
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. We're gonna find out. I can't
I
remember for sure.
couldn't.
But
I couldn't remember.
yeah, I think
so
he's just the enforcer, like the outside enforcer or special guest enforcer. But we're about to find out.
All
And
right.
well, we'll wait till we talk about the match. Never mind. Let's watch. Let's watch.
Okay,
Let's do it.
dokie.
All right, so here we go. It is main event time, something they've been building up for a while. And of course, we don't get to cover Raw and all that here, but I want to mention the fact that ever since Tyson's been brought in, they've been building it up like Tyson is a DX member. He's the special enforcer in this match, and he even came out in a D-Generation X shirt. So, that's what they've been selling this whole time. Got a couple facts about this main event that's all tied together. One of them that I'm going to bring up is now everyone knew Shawn was going to have to leave. Shawn didn't think he would ever be able to even wrestle again. And apparently when Shawn was getting ready to go out, The Undertaker was standing at the entrance and he looked at Shawn and said, "If you don't do the right thing out there, I'm going to be waiting for you when you come back." So I don't know if they were worried that Shawn wasn't going to drop the title or what, but yeah, apparently Undertaker let him know, like, if you don't do what you're supposed to, I'll see you after the match. So there you go. There's a little interesting tidbit. And before he came out, they showed us a backstage shot of all him and Triple H and Chyna walking to the entranceway and everything. And Shawn turned to the camera and said, "This one's for you, Earl." And of course, Earl was the ref during the screw job. So apparently he did, he threw this as a dedication to Earl. So
wow. I was wondering what that was about.
Yeah,
Earl Hebner. Yeah,
reference to Earl.
That makes sense.
The Montreal screw job. It was a good match, and because knowing what I know now, like when I watched it back then, I had no idea Shawn was hurt. He was about to leave. I didn't know that. I know that now. I'd rewatched it, and the way the match went, as good as the match was, and some of the bumps that Shawn took, I'm like, wow, that's insane.
Ow, why?
That's insane. But now maybe there was part of him that figured if he's already been told at this point he may not wrestle again, he was probably like, hey, what's it gonna? I mean, can it get any worse than that if I can't wrestle again? Whatever. Or it's just because
yes,
Shawn
it can get worse.
It can, but you also got to remember this is also drug addicted Shawn and all that. The painkillers take care of that. You don't worry about that. I am sure that Shawn Michaels was the one that was like, if I have to go away, I'm dropping the title myself in a match. I'm not going to, I'm sure Shawn wanted to do it. Vince isn't going to be like, no. Vince is going to be like, hell yeah, pony up, let's go. Let's do it. So there you go. We got the DX band performed live again to bring out the champ. Stone Cold came out and the place went insane. And it was just a hard-hitting, fast-paced match with two of the best to ever do it. It just, to me, every time I watched, it's like certain things just made me go like wince, like, I mean, Shawn's taking bumps over the top rope, taking bumps onto the announce table, like he's not injured at all. Yeah. I mean, it's insanity, man. I'm sure he was probably numbed when he came out, but still, just nuts to watch it and see all that go down. By the way, Shawn has said that he had no problem with putting Austin over. He had no problem with the fast count. He had no problem with Tyson knocking him out. The one thing Shawn did not want to happen was he did not want that Austin 316 shirt draped over his head after he got knocked out. And as you saw, Tyson did it anyway. And apparently after the match, Shawn went backstage and was really pissed. But Vince was in a press conference, so he decided to confront Shane McMahon about it. And apparently threw a really big fit backstage about the T-shirt being draped over him. He thought it was disrespectful. So there you go. That's a little backstage fact
that's
for
totally
you too.
Something they would do as a DX members.
Right.
That's
to me, it just made sense.
I believe they didn't they. Well, maybe not with Shawn, but don't they do spray painting people DX and?
Well, the NWO spray painted everybody. Yeah, I think DX did it a couple of times. Yeah, it was just, whatever. This was asshole Shawn. He's admitted it. So, it just is what it is. But it started off fast and furious, and right away I was like, they didn't say this was a no DQ match, did they? Because Triple H literally attacked Austin right in front of the referee. And the ref ended up banning him and Chyna from ringside. But yeah, Austin, I think, hit Triple H first, but still, you're not in the match. You can't do that, man.
Yeah, but he did take action. He did, instead of DQing him, he kicked him out.
And he did. He kicked him out, and then they were fighting outside, and like the drums got used a little bit and stuff. But there again, I've always had that mindset of if it's WrestleMania and it's the championship match and it's the main event, you as a referee got to decide to let certain things go. I'm just saying, like, So I was okay with it. It's your main event. You got to just kind of have some leeway. And if guys aren't even in the ring and somebody uses an object, sure he shouldn't, but it's not like he can pin him after he hits him with it because they weren't even in the ring. They were way up by the stage. So I was okay with it.
I guess it's a fair concern that Shawn might not drop the title because didn't he have some issues with dropping it to Bret Hart?
No, it wasn't. Bret didn't want to drop the title. It wasn't that Bret didn't want to drop the title. Sean, Bret didn't want to drop the title in his hometown, is what Bret claims. He didn't. He says
I'm
it
talking
wasn't
about
Sean.
before. I'm talking about before the screw job. Didn't Sean literally leave because he didn't? He didn't want to wrestle Bret.
He lost his smile. Yes.
Yeah, wasn't that all because he didn't want to lose the title to Bret?
To Bret, yes, that was.
So, in fairness, there is a history that made.
And I'm sure there were part of it too that there had to be some people that thought if Sean knows he's leaving anyway, he's going to go out there and do whatever the fuck he wants to do. I'm sure there were people that had that thought. I mean, at this point, he is known to get what he wants. The Click, DX is starting to take over backstage. And the Click's already been around, but DX is starting to take over. Him and Triple H are kind of running things. So, yeah, he has a reputation for, and that's exactly what the story says if you're reading it. Just because of his reputation, The Undertaker just wanted to make sure he knew that if he didn't do the right thing, he'd be waiting for him in the back. So, there you go. And what about that ref bump in this match? Man, the ref got stink face. He got double stink face.
He took Sean's ass like 3 times.
Yeah, by the way, Sean's ass was white out at one point in this match, not just a little peak.
Oh my gosh. If camera angles were different, we would have just got a chock full of nuts.
He went over the top rope.
His ass was completely exposed.
Went over the top rope and landed on Triple H with his ass just totally hanging out. I
hear this is most women's favorite WrestleMania match.
Yeah. And, like the ref went down, and of course you said you were waiting for something to happen, which no interference or nothing happened. It was actually just a back and forth between Shawn and Austin. It looked like Shawn was going to hit the Sweet Chin music. Austin avoided it, and then Austin ends up hitting a stunner, and Mike Tyson comes in and does a super fast count. So that was what happened. Like, they built up the whole thing to make it look like Tyson was a member of DX, and then he ends up kind of doing a screw job type thing, because let's be realistic.
Was it a screw job, or was it Mike Tyson just doesn't know how to count? He's never gone to referee school. Well, I would imagine he just doesn't know how fast it's supposed to go.
To me, it was just I didn't hate the ending, but it's also like he nailed a Stone Cold Stunner. So did he need a fast count? I mean, I get it. It was to sell the fact that Mike Tyson was fucking with Michaels the whole time, and he was actually on Stone Cold's side. So I get the point of it, but. No, he didn't go to ref school because that fast count was even fast. Like, you have to watch it if you've ever seen it, guys. Like, it was a fast count. Like, it was, like, done. Like, but that's how it ends. And Stone Cold is the new champ.
Like I
know you are, you asshole. And no, I'm joking. But anyway, it was a super fast count, though. It was like an extra fast count. Stone Cold, your new champion. And the one last fact is this is the last WrestleMania with the Winged Eagle, and Stone Cold is the last person to have that belt. So there you go. Wow. Next night on Monday Night Raw. The next night on Monday Night Raw, Stone Cold. No, he gets this guy the next night on Monday Night Raw. They get rid of the original Winged Eagle and they go to the big. I guess you call this the big Winged Eagle. The Attitude Winged Eagle is what people call it. But yeah, he gets this guy the next night on Raw. The only difference is when they first introduced this belt. I don't either. That's why I have it. I also like this one. But when Stone Cold got it, when it was first introduced, it actually had a blue strap, but mine has the standard black strap. But yeah, the next night on Raw, he gets that guy right there. So there you go. So the last person to hold the Winged Eagle title, which is still one of my favorites, but I liked the big Winged Eagle too. I mean,
it wasn't a terrible change.
Big Gold will always be my favorite belt, but yeah, it was not.
Is that the WCW one?
Yeah, it's the old NWA World Title, the WCW title, the one Flair's most famous for wearing back in the day. Yeah, I have one of those too. I've showed that off before, but it's over there right now. Anyway, when it comes down to it, very entertaining main event. I kind of liked it because I knew Stone Cold won, but I just didn't remember everything. I've seen this WrestleMania, but I like when we watch them, and I don't remember everything that happens because it makes it a little more fun. Because we haven't mentioned this in a while, but most of you, if you've been listening a long time, know that we are actually watching these as we record. That's what we do. We watch a match, we stop, we record. So we are actually watching these every time we do an episode. Your 2 hours of listening to us takes us about 5-6 hours, So when I don't remember everything, I like it because then I get more invested into it versus if I know every single exact thing that happens, I'm like, so I do enjoy that.
And some of these I'm watching for the first time. Now this one I'm not watching for the first time. I remember watching this. I got glimpses of remembrance, like the dumpster match. I remember a little bit of that. I remember the Kane versus Undertaker a little bit. I think I couldn't have told you what was happening. I don't remember it well enough, but I know I watched this. I remembered that Tyson turns on Shawn, and I knew Austin won this. I remembered that much. I thought, and maybe I'm just misremembering it, but I thought Tyson punched Shawn, and then he got a Stone Cold Stunner, and that was like it was a full screw job. I didn't remember it was just a fast count. And he punches him afterwards.
Yep. So, but that's what sometimes makes it a little bit better when you go back to watch these and you don't remember everything. Then you get to kind of live in the moments. So I don't totally hate that, but overall it was a good main event. The finish was, I think it would have worked better your way. This is why I don't know why you're not booking. I don't know why you're not. Part of me thought that too, though. Part of me thought
at the time I was like 16, so
part of me also thought that Tyson actually screwed him, though. That's how I remembered it too, but I was wrong. I mean, he did, but he didn't. I also thought Tyson actually got physical with Michaels and then counted the pin, but obviously I remembered it the wrong way as well.
But you thought he went full on Olivia Newton-John.
Apparently I did.
Let's get physical.
But still a great main event with two of the best ever, and I'm going to give this I'm going to give this a figure 4.5.
A figure 4.5.
Like that?
Clever. Yeah. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this 4.5 knockouts.
I'm going to knock you out. Mama said knock you out.
Mama said knock you out.
LL Cool J. That's who that was. Huh?
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, we made it through WrestleMania, and now we got to pick some matches.
We do. Alrighty then.
Favorite match of the night.
All right, favorite match of the night, and there is actually several you could choose from in this because this was a really good WrestleMania from top to bottom. Every match, the only real stinker was, well, we'll get to worst match in a minute, but there was really only one true actual like stinker of a match, and everything else was pretty good. But I'm still going to do, I know it's kind of the typical thing, but I am going to go with the main event. I am going to go with Shawn and Stone Cold for the WWF Championship as my favorite match.
Yeah, I was debating. I was debating on doing Taka Michinoku again, but there's so many fun matches tonight or on this one. Yeah, I'm going to go with the main event as well. I mean, you had the story, this is one of the first times I really got to a point where I know I watched this. I remember kind of watching this. Like, I remember being upset about this because I love DX and I was like, damn you, Mike Tyson. I remember this. And I wasn't, when I was a kid, Stone Cold wasn't my guy. For me, it was DX. I love DX. I love Shawn. I loved Triple H. And I was like, fuck you, Stone Cold. I can't believe you turned Mike Tyson on us. I was emotionally invested. Now, I have, and it didn't take the podcast for Stone Cold. Stone Cold wasn't a turnaround because of the podcast.
Oh no, Stone Cold.
I was starting to turn around on Stone Cold much, later on. I already realized that I was wrong in my dislike for Stone Cold when I was a kid. So this is kind of cool getting to rewatch it and getting to experience Stone Cold as a fan of Stone Cold because I really wasn't back then.
Right.
So I remember being emotionally against this match because of the Tyson turn, and I was a fan. And I, of course, did not know that Shawn Michaels was injured.
Me neither. Yeah, I did not know he was about to go away. So
I was super upset by this. But I do love Stone Cold now, and yeah, the story was fun. The build up was fun. Not that we really watched that, but I kind of remember a little bit of it.
Yeah,
from my childhood. So yeah, this is I'm gonna go with the main event. I almost considered Taka Michinoku, but there was just so much good on this pay-per-view.
So much good.
Even though that was a shocker, that it was really good, like it definitely defied my expectations. The main event was also really good. It met my expectations. I don't know if it exceeded because I already had high hopes for the main event, but it definitely met them. So I'm going to go with the main event as well.
For sure. All right. Well, now we got to pick the worst. Oh, it's easy for me.
Yeah, this one's not hard.
That's what she said. I'm so too.
Worst match of the night.
Yeah, well, my worst match of the night is the night that I almost ranked too high because I was blinded by the light of Sunny and and it really, you can't, this is not even to me debatable after we've watched the entire card. There was one stinker. Worst match of the night's the tag team battle royal, like hands down.
100%. There's not a question about that.
Yeah,
no,
you don't got to think about that. So.
It was the worst match of the night, 100%.
Yeah, hands down, easy one, easy peasy. Yep, so there you go. All right, well, now we got to rank some manias.
WrestleMania rankings.
So here we go. We are going to rank them. We are on our 14th WrestleMania. And of course, I joined the dark side a long time ago, and I go from worst to first. So here we go. Holding tight as the worst WrestleMania. At the 14th spot, I have WrestleMania 1. At 13, I have WrestleMania 11. At 12, I have 9. At 11, I have 2. At 10, I have WrestleMania 10. At 9, I have 6. At 8, I have WrestleMania 5. 7, I have WrestleMania 13. 6, I have 4. At 5, I have 7. At 4, I have WrestleMania 12. 3, I have WrestleMania 8. 2, I have WrestleMania 3. And this is my new number one favorite WrestleMania, WrestleMania 14.
All right. Yeah, I have 14, I have WrestleMania 11. 13, WrestleMania 1. 12, WrestleMania 4. 11, WrestleMania 6. 10, I have WrestleMania 9. 9, I have WrestleMania 5. 8, WrestleMania 10. 7, WrestleMania 7. 6, WrestleMania 2. 5, WrestleMania 12. 4, WrestleMania 13. So they've kind of all went up ever since 11.
Yeah.
3, I have WrestleMania 3. 2, I have WrestleMania 8. I'm trying to remember what was in WrestleMania 8 that made it so good. And then I do have this as my number one.
Your number one favorite, yeah.
This was overall, if you cut off 16 minutes of this WrestleMania, you have nothing but good matches.
Good matches,
and
yeah.
Good show.
Exactly.
I mean, you got some great rock promos. So
the first time we hear, can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Right.
Pete Rose gets tombstoned. First ever dumpster tag team match. I mean, yeah, there's just so much on this. The DX getting their music performed live. Yeah, there's just so much on this that, yeah, it's good stuff. Definitely the best WrestleMania we've watched so far.
So what I'm thinking is with WrestleMania 15, when we go next to WrestleMania, I'm thinking we should do WrestleMania. I think we should do like whatever, like 5. Like if you put it in the top 5, only talk about the 5. If you put it at the bottom 5, put it in talk about the bottom 5. You know, we talk about the ones around it, but not
the entire thing. Yeah.
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 The next,
that's something we're still gonna Yeah.
We'll do the
Something
same
we're
with
gonna
the
figure
other ones, but the other ones are only at 10, really. WrestleMania is the only one that's hitting close to the 15 mark.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, we'll work on that. We're gonna figure that out and tweak it. And speaking of next week, not that we were, but anyway, we did a WrestleMania, so you know what that means. It's time to go back into our flashback machines again, and we have another Starcade.
Starcade.
Just hang in with us, guys. Okay, Starcade 2 was a little rough. We have Starcade 85. I'm assuming by the poster we've already looked at our main event's going to be Dusty and Ric Flair again, so that'll be next week. But now I think it's time to well, it's not clobbering time because he's got fired. It's pluggable time. Plug those pluggables.
I went ahead and just put down my rankings for Starcade. I do remember them because Starcade 2 sucked. All right, so, well, you can find me at Dragon Blazer Productions on the Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTubes. You can find me on Dragon Blazer Pro on the X for the time being until we decide fuck that shit. Right?
Yes.
So,
thanks.
Yeah, that's where you can find us, or find me at least.
Find me. Andy's right there. And you can, of course, follow us. We have. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say we also have every single WrestleMania is set to come out on the YouTube now.
Yeah, forget to.
They're all scheduled. I believe sometime in October they will be. Well, maybe be caught up because we also gotta. Every time we do one of these, we do 2 on the YouTube. So slowly but surely we'll catch up to where we are.
Yeah, don't forget to check out the YouTubes. And of course you can follow us also. We have our wonderful Boomer and Blaze Show Facebook page. You can follow us at X. You can follow us on the X and Instagram at Boomer_Blaze. And we are at Boomer and Blaze Show on the TikToks. So there you go. Follow us, like us, rate us, all that good stuff. Tell your friends about us. Just come join us. Come join us.
Well, only rate us if you give us those 5 stars.
5 stars. 5 stars. 5 stars.
If it's a 1, we don't need to hear it. You don't need to. We don't need to hear it. We don't need to hear about it. If it's 1 star, we don't need that. Yeah, 5, 4 would be acceptable. 3, okay. 2, I'd rather not.
I'd rather not.
But you can rate us on the Apple. I know Apple Podcast. You can rate us there. You can also give us reviews. Love to see reviews. We'll read them on the show. So far, there's not a lot.
But hey, it's a process, right?
But you can also give us 5 stars on the Spotify. Spotify has an option now where you can rate us. So
definitely. And don't forget to follow all our social medias because I'll keep up as much as I can today with all the news coming out of WWE. More cuts are expected to come today at NXT. So let's see what happens. But all right, well, until then, folks, this has been the Boomer and Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
And good night from Dragon Blazer Studios.
Hey everyone, this is Blaze from the Ragin' Blaze and the Boomer and Blaze Show. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more wrestling content.